I have a question. We don't do the intro anymore.
I have
just
an answer.
Dive right into the question.
Go ahead.
Are you asking Keon or me?
No, not you. Definitely not you. I'm tired of asking you questions.
You're brutal,
Goddamn.
bro.
I've asked you every single question I can think of.
No, you
probably.
haven't.
No, I think I've asked you probably all the questions I've ever asked somebody in life. I think I've already asked you.
That's probably true.
I'm serious, bro. I can't think of a single question that I've not asked this guy. So the question for you is, what's something that you are currently in pursuit of?
In pursuit of.
I had to make up that question as I asked you. I was like, where am I going with this?
Sex, drugs, and rock and roll.
Sex, drugs, and alcohol. I'd probably say I don't know. It's a fluffy word. Actualization, self-actualization.
Okay, Maslow.
Yeah, something like that.
What does that
Actually,
mean?
he's pretty cool. Yeah.
Yeah, Maslow's.
What does that mean?
For you, yeah.
I'd say, for seeking what the meaning of life is. I don't know. There's probably never gonna be an answer, but just that pursuit. For me, it's like, what do I live life for myself or do I live it for others? Do I serve? Do I seek my own happiness? Are they different? It's like fear. Like, how do I deal with my fear? Am I like overcoming my fear or am I afraid of it? I was listening to like people like I was listening to a podcast with Trevor Noah and Jon Stewart, and I think like for me, like they're like, I look up to them because of the way that they think and the way that they look at the world and the way that they are open to ideas and they question things. So like I've in them, and I think with you guys too. I mean, just the fact that you guys are having conversations with such different people, like there's like a duty, at least that I feel that I want to have towards like educating myself on the world, different perspectives. Like, it's not like I could sit at home all day, but challenging myself to get outside of myself feels like something that feels good.
Interesting. So you're in the pursuit of the meaning that you want to carve out for yourself.
Meaning, yeah, whatever.
Do you feel like you've met the past criteria
Of what?
of like before self-actualization is like self-esteem? Before that is like I forgot the word, but it's like friends and family.
I'd say like bits and pieces. I don't know if I have esteem for myself, just based off of like, my parents are, they support me. I've been pursuing stand-up on, how they've been supporting me in that way. I don't have a job right now. Like, I think in all the ways that like at least I measure like worth, like subconsciously, like even everybody, like, do you have a job? Like, are you self-sufficient? Do you know what you're doing with your life? Like,
Yeah.
do you know where you're going? Do you have a family? Stuff like that. I feel like I'm like, compared to all my peers, I'm older than you guys too. So you guys are like 23, 24, you're 22.
Well, like I just turned 16.
12.
12, yeah.
Turned 12 yesterday.
Turned 12.
Go ahead. Yeah.
No, yeah. I just feel like I think I struggle with a lot of like confidence and like feeling like I'm enough, because in all those categories I fall short. Like, you know what I mean? And so that's something that at least with esteem, when it comes to like love and relationships and family, I think being Persian, like it really fills my cup. And I do therapy with my mom, and like being able to like learn how to relate to her in a different way. And I think I had expectations of her and what she should be doing, and being able to go into therapy and sort of take off all my expectations, just try and understand who she is and how to relate to her better. I think that has given me a little bit of light into like what the right direction that I want to go into. So like, just for
Interesting.
yeah.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, go
What,
ahead.
what's the example you were going to give?
No, just like for me, like I've always thought, I think in my mind, like I have always wanted my mom to like love me in a specific way. like, oh, I want her to like hug me more. I want her to ask about my feelings. I want her to support me in, with like comedy, like with an open heart, and like to like really, or like in all these different ways.
Yeah.
And she's really cautious, so she's like, I want her to kind of like, and she has a hard time expressing what she needs. I think she operates what she should do, how she should be, how she should act. And that's very like confining and constraining. And so like, because she's so like filtered in how she lives her life, and she's a great lady. Like, I'm not saying that she's an amazing woman, but like, I always felt like she didn't care because she couldn't always express it in that way. And when I went to therapy and had this very like open and honest conversation that I couldn't have with her on my own, because the therapist was able to draw things out that, and it was a safe space. I think therapy is like a place where it's very unique for both people, and you can have conversations that you can't normally have. But when I had these conversations, like, we'd cry, and it would just show me how much she cared in a way that like I had never seen. Like, she would talk about how much she like, how she was ashamed that, she wasn't able to give me attention because my brother came along, and how much guilt she had in that. Or like, how much she tries to reach out to me with like text messages and like cookies and, all these baked goods and things like that. And like, that's how she was showing how much she cares, and maybe the ways that I would want her to, show up for me. Like, I felt like she didn't care as much until we were in that space.
Interesting.
Wow, that's insane, huh? So that's really good thing.
So it was group therapy.
It's like a good.
It was great. Yeah, it was. Like
Well, not group. It's like a.
Well, it was you and your mom and therapist, or
It's like
just...
family therapy.
Yeah,
right?
me and my mom and the therapist. Yeah, it was great.
That's really good.
It's the first time I felt like, before I was with her, I always felt like there was a space in between us. And then when we finally went into therapy, it felt that she went from the person in the family that I was the least close to the most close to.
Really? After
Yeah,
therapy?
Yeah.
That just means that there was just walls dividing you guys that weren't really there. You guys just had these you had a conclusion about your mom, and she maybe had a conclusion about you,
100%.
right?
Yeah.
And it wasn't necessarily even true.
There was fear.
Somebody,
There was a lot of fear in between.
Wow.
And there was like, my anxiety that was clouding things, and then she had fear on her end that I had no idea what it was about. And like, being able to like have the therapist peel back the layers so that she could be vulnerable, and like there could be finally this like back and forth that wasn't there.
Some dialogue.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
Were you always receptive to therapy? Like, were you
super therapy? Yeah.
interested? You didn't have anything like, preventing you from going in the first place.
I think people who've seen my comedy and people who and you can attest that like I'm pretty vulnerable.
Very
like,
open mind. Yeah.
A little too vulnerable, and so like learning how to like.
You're obsessed with therapy, huh? Which is a good thing in some ways.
I'm obsessed with being honest with myself. I'm obsessed with being not lying. And I think for me, that's the thing that like has been like my guiding light. Like, it's almost to a fault, right?
Huh.
Like,
it brings out the truth, though. You think therapy?
I think maybe not the truth. It helps me overcome all the shame and the guilt that I have.
Really?
Yeah, I have a lot of shame and guilt that I've like, I feel like I'm not loved for like a lot of different things. Like, especially when I was a kid, like thoughts about like, oh, like, I didn't, I thought like I didn't love my family because like I didn't feel like that feeling of love all the time. And like when I was a kid, when I was 14, I was like, oh, like I just said I love you, but I didn't really mean it. I just said it because I wanted to leave. Like, I was like, am I a horrible person because I didn't do that?
As you were saying that, sorry, I'm laughing. I just remembered my own experiences with therapy, and they were very like my experiences with therapy. I don't think it's the way it was supposed to go, because similar thing. I had group therapy too when I first came here. I've ever told you this?
No, I've
never shared. I've never told you this.
Let me hear it. I think you told me. I don't know if you said it on the pod, but
Okay, well, this is groundbreaking because I don't really talk about this. Okay, so when we first came
Do you
from
want to
Pakistan,
talk about this?
sure, it's because it's. I think sure, because it'll show you a perspective I had on therapy versus yours, which I think is the right way to look at it. Unlike mine, because when I was young, we came from Pakistan.
Yeah.
Didn't have much. We're suffering economically. We were all experiencing different things, and so the government I think it was subsidized because I don't think we paid for it, but the state just gave us therapy or something that they give to
Obamacare.
immigrants.
Yeah.
Obamacare? It's not that good. I don't know. It's Obamacare. It was something. I think it was Gavin Newsom before Jerry Brown, the governor Jerry. He felt bad for us, and so my point is, we used to do these group family therapy sessions, and then it would be individual with the same therapist. And then she would ask me these questions, and I would just lie to her. She'd be like, "So, who do you look up to in life?" I was like, "John Locke." And she's like, "Who's John Locke?" I was like, "Well, he came up with natural rights in the Enlightenment era." He was this British guy she was like, "Wow, natural rights. Tell me more about natural rights." I was like, "Well, I'm really interested." It's just like I was like an AP Euro, and I would just like, how am I supposed to be honest? Are you serious right now? You're asking me to tell you about my life, a stranger, a random woman, a random Armenian woman in Cerritos, California.
To your defense, like I think it's a very like,
I was also 13 at the
It's a very Western phenomenon.
Therapy.
Yeah. Like I think people are a lot more open. Western, if you're born in the U.S., you're a lot more open to like this idea of like a therapist.
I think our generation, right, born here.
But actually, Trevor had a very interesting like. He made this distinction. Like if you say like, "Oh, I'm gonna need to go see a therapist," people immediately have this aversion to it. But if you say, "I'm gonna go talk to a wise person or the village elder," like people are like, "Oh yeah, you should do that." So it's not like.
But it's basically the same thing.
It is the same thing.
Yeah.
Like, but like it's just like I don't know how to explain it, but like that was an interesting distinction.
No, I get what you're saying. You're saying that they're saying, "Hey, go talk to the guy that's in charge," right? But technically, therapists aren't really in charge of anything.
Yeah.
It's like one of those things you go to out of free will. But like if you're in a tribe and you're saying, "Hey, go talk to the elder," that's an expectation of society, right? We don't have any expectation from society to go talk to a therapist. Would you say?
I don't know. Honestly, I don't know. I'd have to think more about it.
What? As somebody who's 24 now, and
But
obviously,
like, go back to your thing. I want to hear what you said.
my therapy experience.
Yeah.
Did they
It was
say
just
you have a
lies and
complex?
lies and lies. bro.
Really?
It was,
You're
I
just
mean,
lying about everything,
bro. Like I thought it was like a funny like little thing that my mom was making me do. Like I was just like, "Oh, this is cool. This is a random lady that I just get to talk to."
That's crazy.
I mean, she would make us. Again, this is like a long time ago. I'm talking like 11 years ago.
Yeah.
This is like me in 8th grade or 9th grade, something like that.
Yeah.
And I just remember being not serious about it at all. And I did not feel bad. I did not feel, when you feel bad when you lie to somebody.
Yeah, I know what you're saying.
I didn't feel bad at all because I was like, oh, yeah.
You felt
yeah,
you didn't
right.
need to go.
Not just.
You thought it was stupid.
No, I don't think it was stupid. I just thought it was interesting that my mom was making this gesture for us. Like I was just like, come on, man.
Oh, your
Like,
mom made you guys go?
That's crazy.
Yeah,
that your
she
mom
went
made you do
too.
that.
All you guys were there.
It was a group therapy,
Yeah.
and then we would do it individually.
So when you were saying John Locke was your
It
mom?
was
in the
no,
room?
it was just me. Yeah. I was just, yeah.
Were you
John
being
Locke.
honest when your mom was in the room?
I don't recall. I don't think I talked much
Stuff.
when all of us were together.
Okay.
But now I have the experience. I have even more of a negative experience for myself for therapy.
More of a negative experience
Because-
now.
I don't know if you remember. I used to have this like a whole bit about therapy until Hassan Minhaj stole my jokes, and
Did you actually?
I remember watching that.
I had this bone line I used to say, man. I was like, everybody's in therapy, but nobody's
yes.
getting better,
Yes.
or all getting worse. And then Keon calls me, and he's like, guess what? I just saw Hassan Minhaj, and he basically said the same thing about therapy. And I'm like, okay, I guess I'm never gonna have to say this
that
joke
again.
again. So I've never done it since. This is the first time I'm telling you.
Wow,
that,
you're
but
respecting.
100% respect because he's the better comedian, and he gets to have that take. But
First of all, people
Yeah.
have a lot of the same premises.
yeah,
But,
it's
like,
people have thought of that same premise. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
So it's a very common thing.
Yeah,
to
people
think
talk
of.
about it.
Therapy's a
Yeah,
scam.
yeah.
Yeah, it's a fraud.
But I think
People
it's
say that.
I still think it's to your credit, I think the fact that you both thought of that same criticism of society is like, I think that's a good indication that you're like on the right track. You know what I mean?
Hopefully. Yeah. So therapy. I mean, I don't think it's for everybody.
Do you think you need therapy now?
No,
as a 24-year-old
this is enough.
Pakistani
I
man?
get therapy twice a week with you, buddy. This is the greatest form of therapy.
Yeah, bro. Hey, you
That's-
can
it's
start coming on a
it's
podcast
literally
twice a week, dude.
Therapeutic. What we do is
You're funny.
we process things and we
Yeah.
talk about
I think
things.
this is super healthy. I think podcasting is great.
It's
Yeah,
therapy. I think it's a
It
male
is basically
I do
version.
not
therapy.
think it's therapy.
Male version
I
of
do
therapy.
not think it's therapy.
Really?
I don't.
Well, we get to bounce ideas off each other.
Yeah.
Which is
First of all, I don't think you should say everything that you say like on a live video feed. I think there should be
Too late.
there's a
I've
live.
already said everything.
There's a level of like I think you have to have a level of like psychological safety, and that in itself, like to be able to be vulnerable and tell your deepest darkest secret to somebody.
Yeah,
like
it's
I
tough.
think you can't. I mean,
tell the world.
yeah, you got to feel safe, and first of all, you got to feel like you're not going to be judged, and that for me, it took a lot of time with my therapist to be able to get to a place where like I can say my deepest darkest secret, which is not that bad, but like
It's not that bad. It's
I
not
think-
like you want to murder
I think
somebody,
no,
right?
I think it's like I think we were talking about this before. Like I think everybody exaggerates their deepest darkest secret,
Yeah.
and like to be able to have just the act of just like kind of confessing is just so cathartic because people are gonna be like, it's not that bad. If you've gone through an experience, someone else in the world has definitely gone through the exact same experience. Like
Great point.
Millions of people, even billions of people have gone through the exact same experience, and so like I think, but just back to therapy, I think, and it doesn't have to be a person, but like a person that's a therapist, but like being able to express your deepest darkest secret, I think is such a gift when a person can do that in a non-judgmental and loving way. But most people will be judgmental about it. You know what I mean? Like
Most therapists.
everyone's judgmental. Have you seen the internet? Like Instagram, everything? Everybody's super judgmental.
But they won't tell you to your face.
On the comment
It depends
section,
on
they
the
will.
person. But like
Most people won't tell you to your face.
Look at me. I'm the most judgmental asshole person.
No, but you don't say like no
Yeah,
like
yeah.
on the internet, bro. Every motherfucking comment is trash, bro. It's like terrible. It's like just literally dogging on somebody. And if you do like we've done skits in person, nobody says anything. Like even if we're making a fool out of ourselves, like on the streets or whatever, nobody stops and says, "Hey, you're a dumbass for doing that."
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But online, they'll be like, "Hey, you're a dumbass for doing that."
Knock on wood. Because now somebody's gonna.
I think that'd be a
somebody's
good
gonna
thing,
have-
bro. If they do,
Yeah,
I'll be like, wow,
100%.
okay, somebody's being real with me.
Somebody's saving us.
someone that you like, I really love Gerard Carmichael. I've been watching his comedy.
Familiar. Sounds familiar.
I don't know what that is.
Comedian told me that I should look into him, and he basically says he says his deepest darkest secrets on stage in a way where like I've never seen anyone be able to do. It's just beautiful.
Is he a black dude?
Deepest dark-
Yeah.
Interesting. Sounds familiar. I'm gonna look into that.
But
Interesting.
back to therapy. So you had not a great experience.
No, it's not that I didn't have. It was me and myself to blame for that because I'm sure the therapist was trying to do her job. Also, something that doesn't make sense to me about therapy, still as a 24-year-old, is I don't like this idea of paying somebody and they're listening to me
True.
professionally. They don't give a shit, to be honest with you.
I think it depends on the person.
But they teach you in therapy to have detachment from your clients because you can't carry the trauma of every person. Like we've interviewed a couple like licensed professional therapists, and I think both of them said that they learn
Detach, yeah.
in therapy school when they get educated to detach from the clients because they can't. Because also, by the way, these therapists have therapists of their own,
Oh yeah, 100%.
which I thought was very interesting
have
when they
to.
told us that.
True.
Yeah,
You have
I was
to,
like, that's
yeah.
They have to release the
crazy.
baggage.
Well, and
But it's like a circle of
It is a
therapy. It's so fascinating.
Well, think about what it is, right? It's like self-awareness. And like you have, I have my, I'm projecting onto you based on what you're doing. And the way that they explained it to me was like when you get really like let's say there's a person that you like that you're giving therapy to. You're going to have a filter of like things that you're going to filter out and you're not going to be an effective person. Let's say you're super judgy. You're judgy because you're judging yourself, really, and so or you're judging something that you're triggered by, and then you can't be an effective person. And the only way that you can overcome that is by having a therapist that you talk to, or by recognizing it in yourself and figuring out why do I feel that way.
How many therapists did you feel you had to go through to find the one that like
I never
really?
felt like I found one that like
Really?
except for the Indian philosopher guy that I've been seeing. So I have like a somebody that I follow, spiritual guru, and he's the first person where I felt like I could get like, I've done like CBT therapy, I've done clinical psychology, I've done like some other things too. I've went to like a nurse practitioner who gave me meds, and like all of these people, like I always felt like they had like part of the answer, but I like plateaued with them. He's the first person where I've been like, wow, like
Really?
It really feels like, and it really feels like if there was like an oracle who had like all the answers, it feels like that. Like imagine any questions that you ask, he has like an answer, and it's just crazy to me.
It's like a real life Chat GBT. He's like
Yeah. It really
Oh, shit.
to me
Damn.
it's crazy.
Should we have him on the pod?
I don't. You can
Can you hook it up?
Does he-
Bring the guru on.
Does he have any Pakistani heritage?
He
I hope he does.
Not.
He might be
Damn.
Gujarati.
Wait, what kind of Indian is he? Do you don't mind me asking?
He's from South India.
South India. South Indian.
He's-
Okay.
Yeah.
Sri Lanka.
He's a Brahmin.
Brahmin. That's just the caste, though. Yeah, he's the highest of castes.
Brahmin
Brahmin
is?
is like
He's like
you're like a white.
Really?
No, Brahmin is the highest caste. Yeah, in
I didn't
India.
know that.
Like Janish, our friend,
He's Brahmin?
our former friend, actually. After that podcast.
That's funny.
No, he's still our good friend, Janish Donkey.
He's Brahmin?
Yeah, he's Brahmin. He's like the highest of castes. Yeah.
Really?
You seen the way he carries himself in front of Indian people?
What the hell up?
I'm the donkey. We're talking about our friend that we grew up with, who left us for San Diego.
That's the last name.
As you were talking about therapy and how it took you a while to get to the therapist, I had this observation. I just realized I still stand by my opinion on therapy because I just realized something. Isn't life supposed to be therapy? Because I realized when I do this podcast with Matt and we have other guests,
So what do you define as therapy?
processing your life and events in an introspective way.
Where do you end up? What place are you trying to end up with this introspection?
What do you mean? What place?
Because you can process your emotions, but you can process them not effectively. Like what a place emotionally do you want to get to? Like what's the end goal? You know what I mean?
Like, do you want to just understand it or do you want to like solve it?
Solve emotional stability.
What is so emotional stability as in like what does that mean? You know what I mean?
So the thing is, when I think about therapy and processes, I don't necessarily think about emotional stability. And I might be wrong in that regard. I think more about being more comfortable in your own skin, if that makes sense. Like just understanding your life from a different point of view and just processing how I got here to this moment.
Okay.
You know? So I think your everyday life, like interactions with your mother, father, brother, sister, friend, girlfriend, wife, anybody.
Yeah.
It's because you're supposed to have relationships that allow you to process those things in different lights because they've had that perspective on you, right? Like they've seen you this year or that year in this place or that place in that situation or that situation. And so if you really have healthy relationships, and I'm not saying like that's a prerequisite, but I do think it helps you to process things.
100%. If you have people that you can,
You know what I'm saying? Yeah.
like comedians, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't think. I was talking to somebody who works at the Comedy Store, and she was basically saying that I don't think most people who are professionals can get to be as good as they are without feedback, because you can't see everything, and then you don't have the full perspective on your jokes, and everybody needs ideas, but I think it comes from kind of like, some people will do something like you might look at somebody and be like, why the fuck are you doing that? That's stupid. Like, oh, like you're so like, my mom, and she's like very like, sometimes she'll bring up my ex and she'll talk about like, oh, like, she knows that like I have like, her feelings about her, and she's like, oh, you guys would have had such cute babies, or like
She'll still say
she'll
this?
be like, oh, yeah, cute babies. Or like, oh, like what if you guys like end up together, like all this stuff. And like, oh, like I really liked her. Like you like, you messed it up and everything.
Really?
Yeah.
You messed it up? She says that?
She'll say I messed it up. Like,
Holy
and like,
fuck.
and she won't. She's like
It's like a joke though, yeah.
debatable.
Who's giving you a lifeline?
Like she's honestly has the most genuine,
Intentions.
like good intentions. She just can't see it. And I think going back to your point is like, she can't see it because what is she focused on? She's focusing on me or like what she's saying, right? And when all your attention is focused on what you're doing and what you're saying, how do you have any attention left to be aware of what you're doing? So everyone needs someone else to have their attention a little bit placed on you to be able to have the feedback to see yourself holistically. At least that's the way that I think about it.
Agreed. I think feedback is definitely important in life, especially like somebody who's coming from a place of authenticity. They don't have bad intentions, like your family, you know, or your friends that you trust 100%. So that's why, like, and I know I might be, you know, wrong about this, but I just don't know if therapy is for me right now at this point in my life. It might be different, you know. I need therapy because relationships aren't permanent, you know. People die in your life, accidents happen, or things just happen in your life where you drift apart. So you never know, God forbid. And it's not like getting therapy. I don't think it's a bad thing. I just think it's, honestly, I don't like the premise that society is giving us right now is therapies for everybody. Every person needs it. I don't think everybody needs it, depending on what moment or situation they are in their lives. You know what I'm saying? That's just my opinion.
Yeah, I don't think everybody needs therapy. I think it's very helpful, right? Just depending on I think it's based on personality type, and then like obviously how you grew up, your experiences. I've been to therapy a couple times.
You have?
Past, yeah.
When?
Yeah.
When'd you go? When'd your boy showed up to therapy?
No, shut up.
Talk about everything.
I do have a taboo.
You went to therapy.
Yeah, I know, right?
Wait, tell me about yours.
We talk about everything. You talk about your feelings.
You went to therapy? When?
Once when I was a kid. I was like in 5th grade. I went one time when I was 5th grade. This was during like when my mom and dad were in divorce, and they saw or my mom saw some stuff like in me, and I went one time and I never went back. I told him, I'm not going back there. I'm not going back there. I cried like a baby, dude, during that therapy session. I cried like a baby, dude. And I was just so like, I feel in hindsight, I feel like I was so resentful with myself for crying like that in front of somebody. I didn't want to do that again. And then in college, I went one time, and it was basically, a lot of stuff was happening this year. A lot of stuff was happening. And so I went just to talk to somebody that wasn't part of my family. And I went one time, and it totally turned me off because I know what I need to do to get over things. I know my personality type, but when I told her the situation, the situations, and I told her what I was doing, she just said, "Yeah, you're doing all the right things." Like, she didn't give me like any what's the word, like assurance, or maybe it was too much assurance, right? Maybe it was like, yeah, keep doing that's what she was saying. Yeah, just keep doing what you're doing. You're right. That's what she said.
I don't think that's what you were looking for in that moment.
No, I was looking for somebody to just listen. That's it. Just a third party to listen. I didn't need any feedback, right?
Were you looking for a Robin Williams from Good Will Hunting? Come here, son. Stop fucking up.
No.
Yeah.
Son, stop.
No, literally. Get
your life together.
My brother, he's not my blood brother, but he's like my cousin. He passed away that year. And there was a lot of stuff going on, dude. So I literally just needed somebody to fucking sit there and listen. And she was just, it was just weird. In hindsight, it's kind of funny. At the time, I was just like, yeah, I know. I was like, I know what the fuck I'm doing. I'm doing it right. But it's like, dude, just you talk to your family all goddamn day. You talk to your family all day. And it's like, I know what my dad's going to say. Like, I know what he's going to say. I know what my mom's going to say because I've grown up with these people. Your cousins, you know how they're going to react to certain things. And it's refreshing to get somebody's perspective that doesn't know you, doesn't know your family, and get their perspective, or just get the perspective on listening. That's it. Because everybody in your life, I'm sure you guys have this experience, whenever you give a problem to someone in your family, they always have an answer. They have a solution. They have some consultation that they want to give you. And I don't think, and I struggle with this too, because I obviously, I do the same thing. I do my best to listen, but I always have some consultation, and that's something I work on. But sometimes people don't need consultation. They just need that ear. So, but yeah, that turned me off. And what I've realized since this was 2020, since then is,
was it before COVID or after?
This was during COVID.
So it was online or in person?
This was online, which I think worsened the experience for me.
Yeah,
I don't think doing online works for shit. But what I realized after that, like a couple years after that, is what I need for myself is I need to fill up as much of my time as possible with just doing things, so I don't have any time to think. And that honestly really helped me.
But don't you think new friends can provide that perspective?
I don't know if I feel comfortable telling new friends
No,
certain
not just
things. Yeah.
obviously, yeah, you can. Like, you can't open
Yeah.
with. By the way, I got in
My
7th
brother's
grade.
dead.
Yeah, my mom is dying of cancer. God
Yeah.
forbid. You can't open
Yeah.
with that. But I do think new friends can give you the perspective that a therapist would. Eventually, as you enhance that relationship with this friend. I don't know. At least from my perspective.
I think you have a very different type of friend than most people.
Yeah, I don't think that's accurate
Really?
for the most part. No, I think a lot of friends also like, especially
Am I
with their newer
oversharing
friend-
with my new friends?
Well, not maybe, but not even that. I think most new friends would feel uncomfortable giving consultation.
It depends. It depends on the person.
Yeah,
I think
I don't think most people feel comfortable. Like
Most
if
people
you
don't.
started telling me stuff right now, because like we don't know each other, right?
Yeah.
And I'd be like, I can't. Who am I to give this guy advice? You know what I'm saying?
I think what the problem here is you guys are viewing the conversations with the new friends as therapy. Like, I don't think therapy needs to be always about the deepest, darkest things about somebody. It doesn't need. Sometimes somebody just needs somebody to look at their life objectively, the highlights, and tell them, here's where you're messing up on, here's where you're doing the right things on, and here's something you can do to improve. It doesn't need to be dark. It can be positive. You can give somebody a highlight reel of your life in like 10 minutes or 15 minutes, and they can tell you, here's where I'm seeing errors, here's where I'm seeing progress.
You have friends like this? That you give a highlight reel?
I'm not
10 to
saying
15
I'm not
minutes?
like, oh my god, okay, so in 2000 I was born, in 2005 I
No, of your life right now. Like, hey, I'm doing comedy, cricket, and a podcast.
Well, yeah, I talk. They're not random people, strangers, like friends that I'm not like close with, but yeah, we talk and we talk
Yeah.
about life and what's happening, and
And
yeah,
they give you
like
feedback?
somebody. I mean, unsolicited sometimes, sure, but I'm like, I'll listen to what they have to say,
Yeah.
right?
solicited.
Yeah,
a lot.
or solicited. Sometimes
Or
I ask for sure as well. I don't know, man. My point is because if you the problem that I have in society right now is I don't know what's going on with this whole mental health thing. It's very important that we're
Yeah.
mentally aware. Definitely a huge thing. But this constant pushing of therapy is, I think, we're basically dividing our lives up in moments where we are in therapy and moments where we're not. So basically, we are only supposed to be vulnerable with that therapist. Like, that's my therapy time. That's where I get to grow. And then when I go out in the real world is when I deal with all my shit. And then this is my safe space. No, I think it's supposed to be, there shouldn't be that division, that binary. You know what I'm saying or no?
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
It's
You're
a-
saying
it's-
it's
yeah.
a space, and after you leave that space,
You
you're back in the real world again.
Yeah, it's not like a safe. Therapy should not be that safe space. It should just be. I do think some people should definitely go to therapy, and it's not a bad thing. And I do think I'm guilty of like Eastern cultures for sure, because we 100% view therapy as like a weakness. Like it's a straight up thing. It's like, why are you going to therapy? Like you. Yeah, exactly.
know,
You saw
yeah.
you
He's
saw my
yelling at me,
reaction
bro.
live on the pod. I was like, "What you need therapy for in 5th
You're
grade?"
yelling at me. Is that crazy or what? That's fucked up, huh?
But I am. But I do think I'm guilty. I'm at least I'm aware of it. I'm definitely guilty because I don't think it's a bad thing to go to therapy. Sincerely, I think it's a healthy thing.
I think you may need some therapy.
I'm probably going to very soon.
After therapy. Oh, how do you feel after therapy?
After the podcast, how do you feel?
I feel good. No, it feels good to air out your inner frustrations, your inner thoughts and ideas. I feel good after the podcasts, for the most part. At least the episodes that we don't do amongst yourselves and the guests. Yeah. How do you feel about after therapy?
Peaceful.
That's beautiful.
How long does that feeling last?
Like a second.
Like a second?
It's not long. It's like a minute or something. It doesn't last long.
Yeah.
But it feels like, I think, we've all had those experiences where we're vulnerable about how we feel. Like, let's see, what was it? What was something that I was vulnerable about recently? I think for me, I'm thinking about reaching back out to my ex again. So
You are?
Yeah, the ex thing.
Bro, just have us reach out to her at this point, bro.
So I know. It's a
What if you
lot.
make a video of
Any
all the
thoughts?
people in your
Lots of
family?
thoughts. Huh?
What if you make a
Oh
video
my
of all the people in your life?
God.
That'd be sick,
That would
honestly.
That would be sick, actually, bro.
You know what I'm talking about or no?
No idea.
Like a montage kind of all your family saying why you guys should get back together.
So the first shot is like me and Matt. It's like, hi. We just interviewed Keon on the podcast.
We just talked about. I mean, we just talked about your intimate darkest secrets. Now, that would be weird. You know, they would definitely do it. I swear to God, my family loves her. Anyways,
Honestly, I'm
swear
not
to
even
God.
making this try to be funny. I would love to see that in a movie. Like
That would
somebody
be so
reaching back to their
sick.
ex with
Don't
all
even
their
do it.
friends
Don't
and
even do it.
family,
Don't
like a
even do it.
fucking cinematic masterpiece for 15 minutes.
First scene is your mom, bro. You guys would have very cute kids. That's the first.
It's like an AI image of like your
it would
future
just be
kids.
My mom begging,
Begging.
please.
My
And then when
son.
we cut to my dad, oh, I love you. My mom just cuts back, please.
That's hilarious. Your mom would be.
She would just be begging. I swear to God. She loves girl. But like,
She would direct the whole thing. Yeah.
she would direct it. She would direct it, produce it, add music. Anyways, but for me, like, I was talking about like all this shame and guilt that I had towards like, you know, the past, like with her, right? We broke up, 3 years ago. I felt like, like I was 25, she was 20. Like there was a lot of like, I felt like, oh, like there were all these things where I was like, oh, like why isn't she better at handling her emotions? Why is it like, why do I always feel like, like I feel like I'm giving so much into the relationship and I don't feel like I'm getting the return back. And I kept criticizing things like, oh, she doesn't work out. I work out. I help her work out. Like I do like, there was like all sorts of things where I felt like I was putting in more, and that's not a fair. It's not a fair. That's not a fair comparison. Like I wasn't grateful for all the laughter, the care, the support. I wasn't. I wasn't thinking about like, the objectivity that she was giving me too. She was making me a better person. Like she comes from an Eastern culture, so she made me go and see my grandmother more. She made me have better conversations with my mom. Like I didn't think about all those things. I was coming from a place of ego, and I was like, I'm better. This is like I'm bringing this relationship. And then there's like, I wanted to like I had like all these like crazy standards for who I wanted to be with, and then I basically didn't like it. Like when we broke up, I was like, I kind of like I cried a lot in the beginning.
Yeah.
But when we saw each other after, I kind of like didn't have any feelings like, the way that she did when when we broke up. And I felt like, man, I'm a monster. How did I not like have more emotion like that? And then, there's stuff about like, oh, I should have reached out back sooner. Or I should have done this or I should have done that. Why was I like trying to like be like go out and like find another person? And so like when I go back, I get so angry at myself. Like, how could I have thought myself was like, how did I not appreciate who she was? How was I not grateful? How could I think that I was better than her? How could I think like, why didn't I fight for her? Why didn't I go back? There's all these things, right? All this anger.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's a shame too, where I'm like, I'm 28. How do I still have feelings for this person that was 3 years ago? Like, how do I still have so many thoughts and feelings for this person? And I think like I was carrying that all inside. And like, I was just beating myself up for like all these past decisions and all these things that I did. And having a place where like I could air it out, and I aired it out with a friend, right? And so like I just tried to process what those feelings were. It helped me. It just felt like I was like a pressure cooker, and like he was just sort of like helping me release that pressure. It was just pressure of self-criticism and pain and like regret and all that stuff, anger, shame. And I think to me, he's a great friend for me to do that with, but like that to me is what therapy's good for. It doesn't have to be therapy, but just someone who can be there, and like your point is like someone who can listen to you and like help you. Look, there's so many things that I can't change. Like I can't change like how I felt, like, and that I had a big ego. Like I know that now, and I know that I like right now when I go into a different relationship, like to, it's not as black and white as I think it is. And so,
It's a great point, because sometimes, again, I don't know much. I'm only 24, but you
know almost everything.
Almost 99% of the information in the world. I think you do need humility in relationships. Something I'm realizing, maybe the hard way or the rough way, is sometimes you get lost in your own self that you forget that, oh, I don't have all the answers. You know, I don't know everything. Like I'm not looking at this from the point of view of this person. I'm only looking at it through my subjective lens, and I am 100% biased, like 100%. And looking at things from somebody else's point of view really helps you just rationalize things better. I don't know if you, maybe you probably know about this since you've been in therapy. There's this exercise they make you do in therapy. I read it through a book actually. And I don't know if your therapist talked about this. Basically, you pretend to have a conversation with the person that you have issues with, and you pretend that they were there. Yeah. And you talk to them, so you become, like, let's say he becomes your ex, and then, you know, it's not, it's just you and then another, and then you respond
to yourself.
Yes, it's like method. It's like character acting.
You've done this?
I wrote a letter to her.
That's something else therapists encourage. Yeah, but I read this in a book. I was like, wow, like that seems pretty interesting. I should try that. I haven't tried it.
Wow, that is interesting.
Because it's a little scary, but yeah, I think it helps you look through things from another perspective.
Builds empathy.
Yeah, it builds empathy.
I think it helps you do things that, like, kind of going back to psychological safety. It gives you a space to just. It's a piece of paper. Right? It's an imaginary person. You can say whatever you want to say, and it's to the person that you have those feelings towards.
Have you read The Alchemist?
Yeah,
you have.
Yeah.
What'd you think of it?
The one, yeah. It's the one where the guy's trying to find like gold, right?
Yeah.
It's I have similar feelings of. Like, you know, if you don't know the book, like, it's this book where, like, this kid is trying to find gold, and he's, you know, it's all about, like, kind of like following your inner voice, sort of like even when it takes you to places you don't think it should be, and then in the end he finds the gold was right where he started, which is kind of like it was inside him all along. And for me, I feel like I resonate with that character because it feels like, at least through my life, like the through line has been I've always done the thing that I felt like I should be doing, like an intuition. Like I was in college for engineering, and like I didn't know at the time, but like it didn't feel like the right place for me. And I'm not saying that if I hadn't gone the line, my life would be horrible or anything, but I left, and I was able to, you know, learn about myself and learn things that I wouldn't have learned. And be, let's see. I was in engineering because I felt like I wanted to be smart and I wanted to be successful. I never took the time to understand what do I like, what do I enjoy, what kind of like, instead of having a fixed idea of what I should be, being like who am I, what is my nature already? And so for me, like, having those moments where I listen to myself, even though they're scary, they lead me to a place where I realize a weakness that I didn't have, and it forces me to grow.
Was there an expectation of you to be an engineer?
No. My family's been, and that's a separate conversation, but they've been very like supportive of like whatever I do.
So, that's awesome.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Very necessary in life to have family support, because a lot of people, I do think it's the pitfall of many people, maybe not most people, but they don't have supportive family, you know, and that just messes. Because God is beautiful, because every person in this world needs a mother and a father, and if you don't have that in your life, it can affect you on such a deep, fundamental level that it will literally mess you up for decades. It's that deep, and if you don't have that, what's up?
There was this psychological study that they did, in, I think it was Turkey, where these kids were raised without parents, and they had not mental disabilities, but they were intellectually, like their IQ was lower. They were they couldn't socialize the way that they normally do. That they're basically, what you're saying is just like on all these different metrics, they were undeveloped. But because of that love, because of the affection and physical affection, like a baby needs to be held.
Wow.
It's the foundations, right, of
Yeah.
life.
It is, yeah. It's if you don't have that, you are going to be fundamentally like
Underdeveloped.
yeah. We need it.
Nurturing, yeah.
Kind of like language, right? Like it's like the exact same thing.
Interesting. Yeah, because you need language for survival and interesting. It's that important. I agree. I would agree with you.
That's what they said.
Would you say that your life is more whole as a result of therapy? Like it's helped you find those missing links?
I think it gave me a piece of the puzzle, a very important piece of the puzzle. I feel like what it gives me is imagine like I don't know, I feel kind of like a physicist almost.
Like the alchemist. He was like what? There was a terminology.
He's a
They
sheep
used-
herder.
No, but it was the alchemists themselves were like these scientists almost. That he was trying to be an alchemist.
Yeah, like the guy that
And in the
knows
book,
all.
yeah. Sorry, go
Like
ahead.
a philosopher.
Yeah.
And imagine like, people go throughout the world and, they might, and let's say they didn't have a car, right? They might just walk or walk to wherever they need to go. And it takes like, I don't know, days. Or maybe they want to go to, maybe they want to keep things cold, but the food gets rotten or whatever it is.
Mm-hmm.
A scientist, what they do is they look at the world and they study it. They're like, how does this work? Oh, why does this fall the same way that this does? Why? Oh, is there a relationship between mass and how fast something falls? Is like when I throw something, how far does it go? Why? And so for me, therapy is like giving you this lens to be self-aware and to see, instead of the object falling, is your thoughts, like your thoughts moving, instead of like looking at how mass affects movement. It's like your feelings, right? And it's giving you the vocabulary and this you're exercising a muscle, which is like being aware of your emotions and then also being aware of like your thoughts. And then like a scientist, after you get these observations, you can take them and once you understand them, you can use it to control your environment. And instead of control, it's having this relationship with your emotions and your thoughts so that they don't rule you, you rule them. And it's not even rule, it's more like you have a relationship with them where you don't fight it. And then because you don't fight it, kind of like
Embrace it almost.
it's kind of like a surfboard, right? Like instead of like trying to like, getting hit by the waves over and over and over again, you're like, oh, it's always going to come. Maybe I should ride it. And then I can ride it with a surfboard. Or like, like why is this thing always so hot? Well, like, oh, maybe I can make shoes and it'll always be hot. Or maybe I can use it to make fire. Whatever it is. It's like instead of fighting it, you're like you have this perspective where it's like, oh, like I keep going through the cactus patch and I keep getting hurt. Why do I keep getting hurt? Like this sucks. I hate the cactus. Why? Like, oh, it's there. I'm going to go around it. It's like that kind of relationship that I feel like therapy gives you. Instead of, I think everybody's going through cactuses in life and they're not taking a second to be like, what is this? How does it work? And like, imagine everybody's going through the world with lights off, and what therapy does is it turns on the lights and you get to see things, and you're given this beautiful opportunity to step back and observe it and see how it works. And then once you understand how it works, you can relate to it and then work with it.
Where do you go from there?
What do you mean?
Like once you understand, like you're able to work with it, where do you go from there? Like what's the next step?
Like when you see the lights turn on and you're able to see everything.
Well, it takes a long time, right? I think for me, like it's almost like learning how to walk, right? Like as a baby, like it takes a really, really long time for a baby to learn how to walk, right? It's really clumsy. You don't know how it works. Your muscles are starting to like, it takes like a year or two before you get the hang of how your muscles and everything move. And I feel like that's the same way with emotions, where like you're constantly, you go through this incubation period where you're really just like learning about how your mind works and learning how, and just building this awareness muscle. And then at a certain point, now you can move and you can start to like, you're gonna still get hurt, but like from there, then you can start to, you know, have more control. And just to give you an example, like, I'm playing tennis right now. And one of the things that I didn't really understand when I was in high school is like I would get really stressed out and anxious and I would constantly lose, like a lot. Like I was good, but like I would have this like, I would get anxious, I would get overwhelmed, and I wouldn't know how to handle it. And people would just say, "Oh, just work through it, or just push harder." Like, "Oh, like don't take things so seriously," which is good advice, but like that's like telling somebody not to be depressed, like, or like that's telling somebody like, "Oh, why can't you, you know, go 50 miles an hour? Like you need a car first." And so for me, like at this point in time, I understand because I've done all the emotional work and I've built this awareness muscle, I start to see, oh, like whenever I get, you know, let's say I get a volley in like tennis, I'm like immediately my mind's like, I'm a failure. I'm never gonna get this. Why can't I'm horrible.
You feel like this?
Yeah, my mind. These are the thoughts, right?
Really?
These are the thoughts,
That's
right?
brutal. Okay.
It's brutal thoughts,
Yeah.
right? And so there's this like, I have this identity that I'm never gonna get it, and I have this identity that I'm like helpless. It's this learned helplessness, right? And so when I miss a shot, my mind interprets it as like, this is another point. Like I'm never gonna get this. Or if the shot goes long, it's another point that my mind's making that is like, oh, you shouldn't have done it in the first place because it's gonna be a failure. And for me now that I have this awareness, I can step back from it and I can relate to it differently, right? Instead of it ruling me and feeling helpless, and I still feel helpless, right? Now I have this opportunity to be like, you know what, I'm getting this, like, let's say I'm trying to do a drop shot in a volley, like, it's going to go in the net. Like, it's going to go long, and somebody's going to smash it. That doesn't mean that I failed. It just means that I'm getting closer to getting it right. And I'm going to make mistakes to get there. And so for me, like, and it also frees me up because instead of saying, like, I'm a failure, why I'm never going to get this, it's like, well, how do I hold my racket? Like, oh, how does a professional do it? Like, oh, they put more backspin on it so that it's going to catch. When it hits the floor, it's going to bounce and it's going to slow the ball down. And it opens me up to being a lot more curious about the process and what's actually happening versus being like, I'm a failure, I'm never going to get this. That's immediately going to stop me from making any growth. And now I'm at this place where I'm like, I'm stepping back from it and I'm saying, oh, okay, I see you thoughts. I see how you are, like I see what you're doing. That isn't necessarily true. And when instead of interpreting a missed shot as like I'm never gonna get this, it's like, no, it just means I'm one step closer. But
that can be scary to deal with those thoughts because they're your inner demons.
100%.
Those
I deal with the comedy too.
Interesting.
Well, because when I tell a bad, like let's say I tell a bad joke, immediately I say I'm not funny, and I have this identity where I'm not a funny person, right? And that kills me from taking risks.
Yeah.
Because every joke that I have is going to define the way that my mind works, right? It's going to define me. I won't write a joke because I'm like, oh, what if it's not funny? And if it's not funny, then what if nobody laughs? And if nobody laughs, I'm never gonna make it.
I think I might have asked you this before when we hang out, but did you grow up as somebody who was a perfectionist? Like you wanted.
I got it from my mom. Yeah.
So you wanted things to be like perfect and you strive for excellence in everything you did.
I'm fear driven, right now.
You're what?
Fear driven.
Fear driven.
I think.
What does that mean? I know what that means, like, you know, obviously explicitly, but what does that mean for you?
So, like in tennis, let's see what's a good example. Like,
you mentioned tennis. I played tennis in high school, and I was probably very like compared to you, I was probably a horrible player. But the only way I won games, bro, is this is so sad. The more I realize about my life is I've just been like a fraud, man. I used to literally mentally kill these kids. So I would out loud every single time I would like hit like a nice shot, I'd be like, let's fucking go. Like, let's go. And I would just like literally like anytime I did something good, I would yell it at the top of my lungs. I would yell it at the top of my lungs and just like, and their faces, they would just be like, what are you trying to do? And then I would just keep doing it until like they got aggravated and they started making errors. And then this one time, I remember I was doing it so much, the other kid started doing it to like outcompete me. She was like, let's go after every single shot. It just became like a game of like who yelled louder. It was louder. Let's go louder. Because bro,
it worked?
It worked like more times than not. I'm not saying it worked every single time because definitely some kids are just mentally tougher, but some kids are not. And I didn't have a backhand, bro. So every single one of my shots was a forehand. I did not have a backhand, and my coach would just yell at me. He's like, "Why don't you just work on your backhand?" And I'm just like, I think I'm Dick. I just couldn't get my backhand to work. So every single shot was just a forehand, bro. Even if the ball was going here, I was hitting it with my forehand. Sorry, as you were talking about tennis, that came up, and sometimes I would have those inner demons because I wasn't confident in my abilities as a tennis player. But I would just maybe it was my coping mechanism. Like my coping mechanism was just be a bully, just be a loud person. Just be.
It would work sometimes.
It works sometimes.
I'll give you 2 examples. One of them is like comedy related, right?
Yeah.
And like with comedy, you're always trying to find like a way in to a joke. You're trying to find the right perspective, the right way to say something, the right angle, to find the funny. And so for me, one of the things that I struggle with is like, I'm so fear driven. Like I needed a result now. I need the result. So like when I'm writing and like immediately, like I'm always judging myself. Is it funny? 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 And then immediately with all that pressure comes fear. And like, instead of just sort of like, I feel like a really good comedian is one that's kind of like quiet and just sort of like sits with things, or just playful, right? Like they're just kind of fucking around. I think the best comedians are just like, they're kind of impulsive and they just say things and they're just trying stuff out. And for me, I can't do that because everything that I say for them, like when they're on stage, if they say something that's not funny, it doesn't define them, right? But when you're fear driven, everything defines you. Everything is like, am I gonna make it? Is this not gonna make it? I'm not gonna make it. Like, oh, I didn't do this. It's not like, what if it means that I'm never gonna make it or whatever that is? And so for me, like everything that I did was constrained by the fear. And then sometimes instead of just sitting with a joke and just trying stuff out and just sort of like being calm, like I would try and rush it, or I would move on to something else. And I think sometimes
when you're performing,
yeah, like let's say you're doing there's a lot of comedians who do crowd work, right? I think the scariest thing is, not knowing what to do and bailing, right? Like I think the best thing that you should do when you're fear driven is to not be scared of sitting with something and just trying something out, right? There's times when you're with your family and you might think of something funny and you're like, oh, I don't want to say that because like, what if this, what if that? That's being fear driven. You're like, and like, of course you want to have the right intention. You don't want to hurt somebody's feelings. And like, as long as you have the right intention, and you make those jokes, like, I think, you're going to be in the right direction. But when you're fear driven, I think it prevents you from listening to your gut, your intuition. I think your intuition lies on the other side of fear. And I think if you're fearful, you're preventing yourself from learning. And then the other thing is that I don't know what else I was gonna say.
What about expectation management?
I think honestly, at the end of the day, at the end of the day, having realistic expectations of yourself, and this is the opposite of a perfectionist, right? Because a perfectionist has really, really, really high expectations, and they're not able to trust, right? They're not able to trust.
More than that, though, you can have high expectations of yourself and low expectations of others, and that would also, I think, help. Because I think it's helped me. I think I've always had high expectations of others that I've had of myself, and if they let me down, in my head, I'm like, I would never do that. I would do it this way. That's why this is the right way. But assuming that my expectation of them now drops, like I do things because Matt Gutierrez wants to do it, not because something else is coming in return or somebody else would do it the same way. I'm doing it just because that's who I am.
Okay.
And I think it's helped me because now nobody owes me anything. And so I do things just because, that's just who I am, right? But I have to be accepting of that's just who they are. So if you're on stage or if Ibrahim's on stage and you're trying out a joke, you have a high expectation of yourself. So you're trying to tell the joke as highly done as possible, right? But you have low expectations of the people down there. So if they don't get the joke, fuck them. That's just them. And you can't expect that perfection to come out of them as well.
I like this relationship between what you're saying. You're controlling what you can control. You're saying I can't control the audience.
Absolutely.
What I can control is what is myself, right? And I like that. I think that takes a lot of the stress and the anxiety off when you're with an audience.
Yeah.
Because you're like, I have no control. And then I think for me, when it comes to comedy, or even just performance, I'm going to be studying a sports psychology program, and they talk about how letting go of fear allows you to tap into your unconscious and where your playfulness is. And it just kind of goes back to this idea of you have to have the right expectations. You have to know that you're going to be able to make mistakes, or you're going to have to know that the audience is not going to respond the way that you want to all the time. And you're going to have expectations that the jokes aren't going to work all the time.
Right.
And so when that happens, I think it's a lot, you get out of perfectionism and you're able to just sort of let go and be allow whatever happened to happen. That's what people say, process orientation, right? Where it's there's process oriented and there's outcome oriented.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah.
And when you're process oriented, you relinquish this control of what things should be like. Just to give you an example, there's a reality TV show by Gerard Carmichael, and that I love. And so
What's it called?
It's called Gerard Carmichael Reality TV, their TV show. And every episode, so he's a comedian. He's basically going through different pieces of his life, and in the beginning of every episode, he's just talking about one episode was talking about I don't know if I'm a good friend. I didn't realize this was a problem, but I always do what I want to do. And he opens up with instead of going to his friend's wedding early, he goes to get a hot dog. And he's late to the wedding. And then instead of wearing what the guy wanted him to wear, he got a higher end suit. Instead of white they wanted him to wear, he wore black, all black. He talks about he does all these things, right? And he's very honest. He's very honest, and that's a beautiful thing.
Did he actually do that?
100%. Yeah, it's on the video. It's really funny, and I think the beautiful thing about that, and the thing that's really radical for me, is he's going on stage and he's just talking and he's just being vulnerable about I don't know, something goes wrong in a relationship. I just sort of I just don't talk to them. One of his friends came to New York and he felt like she was imposing a lot on him. She was living with him, doing all these things. And he just, at a certain point, he's got her a place, and he just sort of cut communication with her instead of just having conversation. And I think the interesting thing about that is I think the scariest thing as a comedian is you always have this pressure to be funny. And I think the beautiful thing that I've learned, and that, something that Trevor Noah says, is the funniest things are in the truth. Look for the truth and you'll find the funny. And I think being on stage and looking at Gerard is you have this space to trust and speak whatever you're shameful about, however you feel. And in that space, even though it's scary and you're I have no idea what's going to be funny. I have no idea what's going to land. I have no idea what the story is or what the arc's going to be in my special. But you show up every day and you are open to the process, and you're open to things not being funny. And the ironic thing is, when you're open to things not being funny, you actually are funny, and you're gonna find the funny.
Comedy,
at least in this more.
I agree. I agree with everything you said. Because it's such a. Today I was having a difficult day. I'll tell you a little story. So I do a show like on Friday. I do well, and I wasn't expecting to do well. I'm like really happy, thanking God and everything. And this morning I get up, do well. Then I get emotional. I'm like, wow, like I finally feel God. Like I'm really like being myself on stage. I feel like amazing. I'm for the most part, I'm very much control. I got emotional today as I was praying. And then like 10 minutes later, I bomb. I like bomb so bad.
Really?
Yeah, it's like it's crazy because, and I noticed like I listened to my recording and I was like, what went wrong? And I said, oh, I see why. It's because like what you said earlier, I started my set by picking on somebody, right? Probably shouldn't have done that, but I bailed.
Oh.
I bailed and I lost confidence, and my voice, you can just hear it. I'm just like offended that what I was trying to do didn't work. Basically, this guy had a really long beard, this white dude, and it made me uncomfortable. It was like that horribly maintained, and this whole time I was just like, God, I was just thinking to myself, just trim your beard, bro.
And you told him this?
You're lucky you have a beard as a white guy, first of all, and you look like a Civil War general. I was just like going off on him, and none of it was landing.
Civil War general.
And then
all of these, I mean, all of his context or his jokes always talk about like history.
War.
There's always history and these like 1600 references.
Just a weird kind of a nerd, huh?
It's just
And
funny.
as I was
You find
saying,
interesting, bro. That's
but
what you
as I
find
was saying this to this guy, bro, he had the funniest line out of all. He was like, "Do you want me to do it right now?" Everybody just
You
started
said
that. I was like, "Yeah, can I do it for you?"
And what happened?
No, it was just. My point is,
Wait, what happened? I want to hear the story first.
what?
So you told him, he's like, you want me to cut it right now?
Yeah, everybody started laughing, fucking laughing.
And then what?
And then I was like, "Yeah, I'll do it for you right now. I'm looking for a job."
And then
actually.
nobody laughed at
Yeah,
that?
people just.
They're just like, why'd you
It
say
was
that?
like, not just that. It was just, first of all, it was a horrible room full of like liberals.
Okay.
Like excessively woke people that in retrospect I blame their political philosophies
Yeah.
for the lack of humor. There's like 8 people in the room. I was making fun of the certain community of people that have different stances on marriage, and turned out 2 of them were part of this community.
Gay marriage?
Yeah. Turned out a lot of them actually were part of this community. And every single comedian after that roasted me, bro. They roasted me so badly, and I was like, "Oh, it's karma, bro." It's so. They were just like, I was just at that point in my mind, I was just like, "Man, I really want to make this into a roast battle," but I would just like laugh, like, like a fake laugh. I was like, I was just, what are we gonna do when somebody roasts you and you can't say anything back because it's their time? I don't want to heckle. Like this one lady was like, LGBT gay rights, right? And I didn't fist bump her back. I wanted to say, I want to go to heaven, not hell. I just censored myself. I didn't say anything. I was just like, I'm not going to hell, this lady. But I would just sat
Did
there
you
and
fist bump her back?
No, I didn't fist bump her. I was like, I'm not fist bumping you. I would laugh. I was like, and I was just like, I made it a kind of weird thing.
Okay.
I made it even more awkward, honestly,
For yourself?
for everybody involved.
I think if you're
And I was like, guys, and I was so humbled.
hilarious.
I was so humbled because I literally, bro, I was crying. I was kind of emotional before, not afterwards. I
No,
was
yeah.
not crying. Before, I was like, God, thank you so much. I'm finally feeling so
doing good.
comfortable.
Yeah.
Then I got humbled just like that. And so, as you were talking about that, I think one of the things that I've realized in comedy is it's literally all about confidence. Because I did some of the same material 5 minutes before at another venue. And I was just the most confident. As I was saying it, I was looking at everybody's eyes. My voice was peaking. I felt good. And then my voice was literally like, it's like I saw the difference.
Yeah.
And it was that thing when me making fun of this guy didn't resonate with anybody. I was just like, fuck, why did I do that?
Yeah.
The whole room just lost me. It was
hindsight, though.
scary, bro. It's so scary when you
Yeah.
do something.
Bro.
It's very humbling. Bombing on stage is.
it's humbling.
Would you start off with that again? With like a,
You
always start off with a roast?
Not always start with a roast. I always
If
something
you
I.
wanna- you should. Who's that one guy? He does that. He did the thing at the.
Oh yeah, I know. I thought about him, bro. I know the Filipino guy, right?
No,
Half Filipino, Joe Coy.
Coy?
He bombed at the Emmys.
No, I'm talking about like roasting, like.
Matt, right?
Chris Rock when he got slapped at the
No,
Oscars?
no, it's one of it's. one of the
Akash
guys that we
Singh?
know. He no. He's
Who are you talking about? A crowd work
He's-
comedian?
he's the guy who roasted a bunch of veterans.
Oh, we had him on the
We had him
pod.
on the pod.
Yeah.
Nimesh.
He's gonna kill me.
No.
Nimesh Patel. Hold on.
No, that's not.
My guy, Nishan.
I know. Yeah.
Nish.
Yeah.
Yeah, Nish.
So he like I think like
Yeah.
when you think
Nish.
about,
I'm sorry,
I mean,
brother.
think about like a person. Think about a guy who wrote like the one crowd you don't want to roast
Is the
about
better- yeah.
their about like their trauma, and like not.
But that's the truth,
no.
right? That's the truth and the funny.
I think the thing.
Or the funny and the truth, sorry.
I think for me, if you want to study someone, who does that type of stuff, and I think you're very good at that. Like I think maybe.
Most of the
him.
time.
He's good.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, like I think when you're like, I think for me when I've seen you like be your most comfortable and like
Yeah.
like just kind of control a room, it's like with us, right?
Yeah.
Like it's like you're just like you're just playing, you're just like you're playing around, right?
Yeah.
And so for me, like, I don't know, I love that about you, and I love that feeling that you can create.
Yeah,
It's like with your parents, like you like it's like
Yeah, it's
like
a
when
cool
your mom
feeling.
roasts you. When your mom roasts you, like
Yeah.
that sort of like playful banter.
Yeah, it can be a little traumatic at
Oh,
times. Well,
100%.
yeah. But something I also realized as you were talking about that is, I've noticed, at least when I pick on people in the audience, it works like better when the person is taking it as a joke too. Because this white guy was kind of offended that I made fun of his beard. Like he was not laughing at all. He was a
thought that was
comedian too.
cool, bro.
He's a little weird, by the way. I will say this, very weird guy. Just his whole bit was a character, where he was pretending to. It's whatever. But he just.
What?
It's. I don't even understand. Like half the stuff. It was fine. It was fine. He was probably okay, but he was definitely not 100% normal, because I still stand by my observations.
Well, just to give you like, I think even sometimes, like my brother's very good at like playing around and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like, and making fun of people. Like I'll say the exact same thing that he did, and like people are like, what the fuck?
That's actually happened.
Like it's happened before. Where I'll say the exact same thing, and it really is like sometimes it's like
Personality, bro.
Delivery.
it's the person, it's
Personality,
the personality.
vibes.
It's like it really like
Vibes.
it's just like-
huge.
and I think, and for me, like I think, and I'm not saying this is you, is when I say things, sometimes I'm doing it to be funny, right? And like I'm trying to say it because I'm like I'm trying really hard to be funny. And when he's doing it, he honestly wants everyone to, like, he genuinely is such a good person, and he's just so playful, and he wants to fuck around, that's like subconsciously communicated through his emotion. When I'm doing it, it's a little bit more blunt, and like, I want to be funny, and I'm going to say this thing to be funny. And like, that's not like,
Does he do it to make himself laugh?
He'll do it at his own expense. Yeah, and sometimes he does it
Like to make him laugh.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes. I think for me, like at the undercurrent is like this very subtle, very nuanced, very genuine place that he's coming from. That for me, I'm doing it from a very like selfish point of view.
Have you talked to him about this?
Yeah, like, we've said jokes and stuff, and like he was making the observation, like sometimes it's like, when I say it, it's not that offensive, but when you say it, it is offensive. And he was just sort of like thinking about like, I wonder why.
Yeah, what did he come up with?
We don't know. It was really about like delivery, and
Uh-huh.
if I had to think about it, I think it really is intention, and I think he is genuinely just such a playful and funny guy. And I think people who are like kind of born funny, not born funny, but like when you grow up in that sort of jokey, sort of like comedic kind of like playful way, I think there's an intentionality that you can't really, it's subconscious, right? That like that they have and they've developed, that like for me, maybe that's someone who's not as naturally funny, like I have to really work on making sure that like I'm not trying to be funny. I'm trying to like make sure everybody's having a good time and being playful. Because if you look at Adam Fink, right? That's a person that you look up on stage and you're like, wow, that dude's really like trying to like make sure everybody's having a good time. He's not trying to be mean to anybody. He's really trying to like make sure that everybody's lifted up. And I think when you have that versus like some of the comedians that get up on stage and like, we've seen them, and like they'll get up on stage and they'll like make fun of somebody, and it comes off like,
Yeah.
it comes off mean, right? And like sometimes like you know, like.
Yeah.
Just tell him, bro.
No, I'm not trying to say.
Tell
I'm not
him.
trying to
No,
say you.
it's-
I'm not trying to say you,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah. You can say me. It's fine.
Because you've made fun of people in the crowd. Like I've been there, and you
Yeah.
make fun of us, and it's so funny,
Yeah.
right? It comes off your intention. You're
Yeah,
trying
today
to-
was a rare occasion, I will say. Like, usually when I make fun of somebody,
It's like
it's right on the money. Right on the money.
like you said at the
Humble
wedding
it-
that you did,
humble about
right?
this.
At the wedding that you did, it was
It was like a comedy
it was in
night.
a
Yeah,
good
yeah,
fun.
yeah.
It was in good fun, right?
Yeah, dude, that was like probably my best performance.
Really?
My God, that's why I was
That's
like,
the one that you told me not to go to on Friday.
yeah, because it was $50 to go. I don't want to make you waste your money, brother.
Oh, but
$50.
It was amazing. You said.
Yeah, it was. I
Would
was
you
a
been nervous
miracle.
if I went?
Honestly, I would have felt bad for you because they made me wait 3 hours of just.
Really?
Yeah, I didn't tell you. I was telling these guys. So it was basically, this was a comedy night for these Pakistani people through age demographic 45 to like 80.
Yeah.
These very old people.
Yeah.
And there was like some of their kids came. So there was like
Okay.
6 or 7 like young people and like 80, 70, 80 like old people.
Oh,
Not
shit.
old people, middle-aged
Yeah.
people.
Well,
And
80's old. But yeah.
I'm exaggerating. It was no like there weren't that many 80 or 90-year-olds. It was most 50s,
Okay.
Yeah.
40s, 60s.
It's like
Fucking one 80-year-old. But the average is like 65.
That was 16.
And there was like singing performances in between, but
Yeah.
I was the only professional kind of comedian. Like everybody else is just like a dad joke.
Oh, this one you were telling you went to this meeting
Yeah,
and
so
then
we had like
nothing that got
multiple
done.
meetings.
Yeah.
Nothing got done to prepare for this. It was just food, and they made me do stand up. I wasn't expecting to do stand up in Urdu. First of all,
Oh, it was in Urdu.
I had to
solid.
some of the stuff I had to translate. But no, but when I did this, it was
Yeah.
I spoke in like 80% English and 20% Urdu. Like some things, inside jokes, I would do
Okay.
in Urdu.
Got
But
it.
they made me wait. It was a long time. I was getting frustrated because nobody was paying attention. Everybody was
That's
just
right, yeah.
eating, and it was not good.
The first time.
3 hours in.
Talking about
bro.
the actual show.
3 hours.
There were moments where people would pay attention, but I was just like, how the fuck? And they started serving dessert
Yeah,
like
yeah.
before my performance
On Friday?
On Friday,
Uh-huh.
like the dessert. And I was like, people getting in line to get dessert. And I was like, how am I gonna do comedy when people are trying to get dessert and they're standing in
Yeah.
line? And I was just like, okay, I don't want to go. I was just like, okay, I hope he doesn't call my name. And thankfully, I didn't get called. And then he finally called me up. I
It was
patiently.
good timing.
Bro,
too.
some people were just getting up on stage without him even calling because they were getting frustrated. So there was like these older Pakistani people that were just singers and they wanted
going
time.
up.
They just fucking went up.
No.
I was like, I'm not. They were so grateful that I didn't barrage the stage. They were like, what a good guy. What a true artist. He waited his turn. I was like, damn right, I'm a good person. So I go up on stage. Yeah, I'm serious. I can show you the video. I go up on stage and right off the bat, I'm just like, I don't give a shit. I'm just going all in. So the host was there. I was roasting him. His wife was present. His kids were there. I was just roasting. I was going into the guy. And everything worked because I was just calm, collected, and confident. And I just didn't give a shit anymore because I had nothing to lose.
And it
I was like,
3 hours. You're like,
I'm like,
I've
I've seen the worst that could happen on this stage. It doesn't get any better than that. And actually, Trevor Noah talks about that. He said before going up, he envisions 2 things. Either it goes amazing or either it goes horrible. And he goes, I've already envisioned the best and worst things possible. So now I'm ready for what's left, the middle, which is very easy to deal with.
yeah, yeah.
I love him.
Regardless, yeah, after like the
You kind of
show,
look like Trevor Noah.
Trevor Noah.
A little bit.
Yes, I look like a
little bit.
a 6 foot.
Well, no, actually, honestly,
Yeah.
since I'm not even making this up, a
No,
little
you
bit.
Don't.
A
Yeah,
little
bro.
bit.
Don't even.
You
no,
look
I'm
like
not even-
Trevor.
No, I don't.
A little bit. A
You're
little
not gonna
bit.
gaslight me into thinking I look like.
You
a
look like
black
Trev,
man.
bro. You
I'm
look like
not
a guy
even
with 2
taking
first
it.
names
A little bit. You guys, a little bit. Just different hairstyles. Different
and different
ethnicities.
complexion.
No, Trevor's
You
light.
think about, the way
Trevor's
you say-
white, pretty much. He lives like
No,
a very
he does
white
not look
skin.
white.
He
to
does
me.
not look white.
He does not
He
look
does
white.
not look white. He looks African for sure, but he has whiter skin. Definitely a very light skinned black dude.
Yeah, exactly like Keon, bro.
Definitely, basically.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, we're basically saying you're a light skinned black
tree,
dude.
bro. I'd be like, wow, is that Trevor Noah's twin?
Okay, that's too much. I was actually agreeing with the hints of Trevor Noah.
No, I do think they
You're a
look
handsome
very
guy.
similar,
Trevor
man.
Noah's.
Yeah,
I
Trevor
don't.
Noah's a
Do you
good-looking
think?
guy, right?
But do you think he's handsome when you look at Trevor Noah? I just think he's a normal guy.
He's a cool dude, man. You look
I'm just
exactly
trying
like
to
him, bro. Just
understand.
say
We all
yes.
I'm just trying to understand how we got here.
It all started with therapy.
Oh
No, you're
my
good.
god. So
He's
yeah,
obsessed with it, Trevor Noah. He
Accent.
talks a lot about therapy. a
you
lot.
talk a lot about
I don't
Trevor
know what-
Noah too.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
We'll talk about Trevor.
You said he was obsessed with Trevor Noah?
No. I said Trevor Noah is obsessed with therapy. I've
Oh,
seen
he's
his
obsessed with
podcast.
therapy.
He talks about therapy a lot because I think it's helped him a lot. It's had a really big impact on him.
Is he South African?
Yeah. He was.
All these
Been
guys
through a
coming
lot.
up from South Africa.
Well, he's
bro.
also been through a lot, bro. Like for instance, his stepdad shot his mother,
Something like
And she survived.
and
Something
she
like-
survived.
She shot like in the places you can't
Really?
shoot this person. She shot in
South
the
Africa?
head. In the head.
and killed her.
No, she survived.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
This
With
one time,
brain trauma. No.
No,
no,
nothing.
she's fine, bro. It's a
Nothing.
miracle of God.
It went.
yeah.
It went straight. It went
crazy.
straight through, and then it.
She pulled a
came out.
Trump.
It came out. It was perfect. It was fine.
It's like the bullet grazed her head or something. Yeah.
That's actually insane.
right. Yeah. That's exactly.
That's exactly what happened. And she like the mom made this joke.
Oh,
It
like
was so
Trump,
funny.
like something like that.
What'd
Huh?
you say?
Like fight.
She was
fight, fight.
like, she's like, Trevor, why are you so sad? Now you're the most the best looking one in the family because it took out my bit of different nose. I thought it was so. Sure.
Oh,
It's, like,
so not the
crazy.
ear, it was the nose.
It was a little bit like like the nose a bit. Yeah.
Okay, like a Trump type thing. Like
Yeah,
almost
something
like,
like that.
His
like an
ear
assassination
grazed his
attempt.
ear.
Yeah.
No, but he's been through a lot worse than that. Like I was reading the beginning of his book, and he talks about how one time they were in a bus or like a taxi or some sort of a car,
Mm.
Yeah.
and his mom
Oh,
literally
yeah, she tossed him out. Yeah.
tossed him out of the moving car or bus. I don't remember which it was. Was it a bus or
cab. I
car?
think it was a
It was a
cab.
cab.
Yeah.
They escaped. I think it was a bus because it was trying to
Do your
whatever
thing, I don't
To
know.
escape the
to
ride?
escape the bus because it would turn
They
out to be
couldn't
some
afford
bad
it?
guys. No, it
Oh.
wasn't a Ford. It was
Okay.
bad guys, right? They were after
I couldn't. I don't
because
remember
she was
the name.
African, and he's mixed, right? His
Yeah.
father's white,
Okay.
Swedish man, and his mom is African. So I think it had something to do with that. But
Wow.
interesting perspective.
Trevor Noah.
Yeah.
Soroush.
But he really likes
Keelan.
therapy. Yeah.
Sorry.
Huh?
Doesn't matter, it's fine. Yeah, he does like therapy.
Yeah, he's very much. I admire that about you, man. Because what something I notice about you on stage is you're very. When people look at you on stage, they can see that you're trying to address things that you're experiencing, and for them, like it's truth based comedy,
I love it.
which
yeah, I love that
takes a
kind
lot of
comedy.
guts to do. Because everything you say on stage is personal to you,
100%.
and it's
So it's like that Gerard.
It's
From
exactly.
Butler?
it's kind of like that guy, right? Yeah, I was gonna say
He's like literally the type. Like if I could be someone, that would be.
That
the
would
type
be
of
that.
guy.
that's your goat for you. Like that's who you aspire to be.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
think, like, I love Trevor. I don't know if I can do his type of humor because he's so smart. Like, who's gonna be able to make the societal commentary that he can?
John Stewart.
And no, Jon Stewart too. Like,
Yeah, he's
I
great.
just don't like. I think the thing that I didn't really realize is like kind of like skills, like how hard it is. Like they are so observant and critical of society, and then from that observation and critical, then they make the jokes. You can't go to the jokes
Right.
without that
Observation.
that very very critical eye, and I don't have that yet, and so I don't know if I'll ever have it. But like but yeah, that Gerard Carmichael, that type of like vulnerable comedy. Where
Well, it seems like more your style, right? You're
yeah,
a very
100%.
vulnerable guy. So
It's to like he takes it to the extreme where he literally has a special where he just talks about secrets. His deepest. He comes out on the special. Nobody knew he was.
He's gay?
He's gay. And so he comes out on the special as gay. Nobody knew. Even the audience had no idea.
What?
Yeah.
Gerard
Yeah, Gerard. He got an Emmy for it. Yeah. It was really
Butler.
good. No, Carmichael.
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah,
I'm just
Butler.
kidding.
Gerard Butler.
Butler. Butler get there. If it was Jimmy, I would get it.
He came out. Was it on Netflix?
It's on Netflix. No, it's on HBO.
HBO.
Yeah.
Okay, maybe I'll
He
look-
came out during his special.
Yeah.
What did he say? He's like, hey.
He said,
I'm
so
actually
he
gay.
goes through the way he does is very beautiful, but he talks about like how he felt. So his dad cheated on his mom. Like he had like 4 kids with this other woman, like all this stuff. It
4?
was crazy. Yeah, it was crazy.
God damn.
It was crazy.
4
Yeah,
kids
Yeah.
with another woman?
Yeah.
And instead 1 or
It was
2?
crazy. Yeah.
Oh my God. Sorry, go
No, you're good. And so he like called himself. Is that okay?
Yeah.
He called himself. He called himself. He told this woman that he was Jerry Rice. Anyways, but like he felt so for like imagine for like 20 years he knew this fact that his dad was cheating and he never told his mom, and so he felt complicit. He felt like he was part of the lie. It was his. He's basically at fault for the secret.
Yeah.
And he's like, and when his dad and when his dad told his mom, he felt like, wow, like he kept the secret his entire time. It felt like he wasn't being genuine to his family, and he's like, I felt like I was even worse because I've been keeping the secret my entire life, and I haven't told my friends, my family, and that secret is I'm gay. And so it's this incredibly vulnerable, just beautiful moment on stage where he's able to and he has no idea how the audience is gonna react, right? And
that's insane, bro.
I would leave. I'd be like,
no, no, but like,
I'm like, it's not Pride Month yet.
I swear to God, the way that it's so beautiful, because I think one of the things that it creates, everything that we say creates tension, and not everything, but the things that we say create tension. And when you can acknowledge an audience's perspective, you can make that you can use that tension to create laughter. And he does that in such a beautiful way, where he's like, I hear that, he's like, I hear all this clapping. Like, I know some of you are like, oh yeah, extra, and some of you are like, yeah, I don't want to clap. I know that I just have to. And like he makes that wasn't that funny, but like he makes jokes out of that. The dichotomy in the audience, like the very open and the very that are just not very accepting, and like the way he plays with that is just it's just a masterclass.
So does his mom already know about that, or no? She found out through the special.
No, he went through and he told everyone in his life, and then he went and publicly he went on stage.
How old is Gerard Carmichael?
He's 38.
38. Oh wow, so he came out pretty old.
Yeah, it was 35 or something like that when he came out.
He's been gay his whole life?
Or was it after his dad?
No.
Had.
Yeah, I think he's always he's been trying. He grew up in he felt like he always felt pressured to be masculine and to be and not to like women. And so from from when he was a kid to all the way until he's 35 or so, he felt like he was fighting that part of himself.
To be more feminine.
That liking men. Yeah.
So interesting.
Would you come out being gay on stage?
That would be tough. I don't know if I can do that.
That's insane, bro.
I don't. Just the idea of being gay is like, for me, like I get like I can't. There's so much. It's like scary. I don't know if that makes.
That's a weird concept, right? Like being gay. I agree. What a horrible thing to be as a person.
I'm not trying to like. I love everyone.
You love the gays?
I love everyone, and I feel like for me, like I think there's a fear, like a societally based fear, like like are you gay? Like are you whatever? Like even my family, right? Like my grandmother, like if I was gay, she'd pretty much like disown me.
She'd murder you.
Yeah, it would be like there's this like fear, right? Like, and I'm not saying like, and it's sad that we're not, whether you're gay or not, you can't even like. There's a fear associated with that, and so like, I don't know.
I think
gay, straight, trans, any of these, right?
Being vulnerable, anything within the particular letters of a community, it's. As I've performed comedy, and I haven't been doing it a long time, but 2 years and 8 months now, it is hard. I think the hardest thing is obviously being funny, but the second hardest thing is being vulnerable. Just telling things about yourself that this is something I heard from somebody. They said a lot of comedians sometimes mess up because they talk about things that they haven't processed yet.
Yeah.
And
somebody on this
podcast talked about that. Who did?
Trying to think.
Was it it was Mike Sasson.
Oh, okay.
Mike Sasson.
Yeah, he definitely talked about that.
He basically said, I think he was saying that, and it's not funny because they themselves haven't processed it yet. So it's important to process it to the best of your ability at that current time.
Rather than the audience comedy to process it.
Well, you can use it,
I push
but
back on that Because Gerard is
Tell
like
me,
a
yeah.
good example of like someone. I think he definitely processes it. He definitely writes it out. But on stage, he really is like working through it. And
Really?
processing it. Yeah, like it's a beautiful. Like you should really look at his reality TV show because like for me, it's such a. I think so often you see the finished product with comedy. You don't get to see how it
Got there.
it got there. And I think seeing Gerard work out material on stage and like how he struggles with being
gay.
a good friend, his struggles with his family not accepting that he's gay, from he struggled with like infidelity with his relationship and his partner. Like I think like it's like all these things were like, who would ever say that like I cheated on my partner like in like
On a TV show.
on a TV show, even with an
Oh,
audience.
he cheated himself.
He cheated, yeah.
He's an infidel. A gay infidel. Sorry.
No, I'm just
Like
yeah. Go
I'm,
ahead.
I'm saying that like he has people call out, like he has people call him out, like for the friend thing. He's like,
Yeah.
he was like, maybe like
Interesting.
you're not a good friend, and he sits with that, like, and like you could see visibly that he's hurt, and that he's like really like contemplating and sitting with that idea that he's not a good friend. And I'm saying that like on stage and being funny, like whether when you're a performer and when you're like when you're on a show, like maybe that's not the time and the place to be vulnerable. Maybe it is, depending on how the person, but I feel like when you're on stage and when you're able to have this like you're putting stuff out there, you're really like it's like material, right? And like you're sifting through the material to find the gold. And so like the gold is the nuggets, the gold is like the irony, the ridiculousness, like the fact that Gerard like cheats, but like he hates it when his boyfriend, like when they open the relationship, he's like, I don't mind when I cheat, but when that guy cheats, like I hate it. He's like, and so like that irony of like it's okay when I do it, but it's not okay when he does it.
At least he's aware.
Shit, that's literally the most amazing part about like him and who he is as a comedian.
If he's in an open relationship, I'm sure he's dealing with a lot of stuff.
He's in an open relationship, yeah. It's like and that's like
sad. Yeah, but go ahead.
No,
The open relationship part.
I think
It's just sad to see people do that, in my opinion, at least.
I was struggling with that too, right?
Yeah.
And I felt like, I think if you really, for me, I was looking at him and I was like, wow, you're in a relationship with a loving human being who's like making you a better person. Like, how could you cheat on him? And for me, when I looked at that relationship and I related it to myself, like I have like there are things that I could relate to with him. Like he feels like he has this like first of all, he's stopped himself from being from that part of himself for 35 years. Imagine you've sort of like you force yourself to like not be who you are for that long.
So all the gayness just comes out in one night. It's just he's just going at it. He's like, God
I don't know
damn
if I would
it.
put it like that. But
I think
I'm gonna come out today. I'm gonna
I think
cheat.
the
I'm
devil
gonna.
creeped in.
But like
Right?
shame, right? Shame. Like this whole time you're like you feel shameful for who you are, for how you feel, how you act, even your life, right? And so like to have all that stuff, like when I understand him in his context, like, and he's dealing with stuff, and he literally says like, I'm a horrible person. I can't believe I cheated. Like he can't stop himself. And so
It sounds more like Kanye West to me now. He's just like keeps saying, I need to see this guy because
I think you do.
Yeah, because I don't. Yeah,
He's such a
Can we see a picture of him? Can you pull up a picture of him?
he's such a
What's his name? Carmichael?
amazing human. Yeah, Gerard Carmichael. He's a great guy.
Normal black dude. Looks like
can I
Chris
see?
Rock.
Can I see? I don't see the gayness from this vantage point.
He looks like
but-
Chris Rock a little bit.
I'm kidding. I don't see the gayness from this vantage point. I gotta say that.
But like I think for me, when I related it to him and was like, all right, what if I was dealing with all this trauma, all this addiction, like I'd been repressed my entire life, and I couldn't stop myself, and I knew I wanted like, and I really cared about this person. If you're talking about addictions, people feel like horrible people because they can't control themselves. And, you know, if you relate it into in that way where like a person really truly doesn't want to be addicted, but they are, and they constantly beat themselves up for
What is he
this thing
addicted to?
Huh?
What is he addicted to?
You know, like sex.
Okay.
And so like when you have, for me, I relate to it in that way. I'm like, all right, let's say you can't control it. At least you're open and honest with your partner about it, and you're able to find a way that works for both of you, because they both still love each other. They both want to be in a loving relationship. Nobody's being hurt. It makes sense for them. I feel like, at least for me, it gave me a lot more compassion for their circumstance, and at least for them, it works, right?
As you were taking, something else I thought about was something, as you were speaking, something gave me anxiety. And it's like, I've been thinking about this, is, I'm sure you've heard of this, is people say that children tend to fall into the same patterns that their parents did.
Yeah, and Gerard's family
Is
is
gay?
Good job, buddy. That was a perfect time.
his
dad. Turns out his dad was just
No, it's crazy.
just doing dudes and women.
No infidelity, eh?
His grandfather had 26 children,
Oh my god.
different women. 26.
Fighter.
They're just a family of hoes
and
at
then-
this point.
His other grandfather also fathered different children with like another woman, and like these are separate families. You know, all this
Generational.
stuff. Generational.
Yeah.
And so like when
At least no
given-
kids this time. Ain't no gonna be
Yeah.
any
Does he have a
genetical-
kid?
Gerard?
Yeah.
No.
Okay.
But like when you're given that context too, I think also that context really does help too. I should have brought that up. But like when
The
you have this
bloodline ends with
context
him.
about,
The bloodline ends with him.
you might have a kid, I don't know. But like I think like when you have that context too, like it gives you a lot more compassion for a person's circumstance.
Gerard.
That's a very interesting point, man. It's generational. It's generational stuff.
But like if you look at him though, like at least he's doing it better than his dad, right? Like when he cheated, like he's very open and honest about it, right?
I don't know, bro. That's crazy.
For men listening in, the lesson here I think is don't cheat on your wife. Otherwise, your
saying-
son's gonna be gay.
I'm
Your
not-
punishment is.
I'm not saying
Your
that you
son's
should.
gonna be in the closet for the rest of his life. That's the punishment you get for cheating. Every woman you cheat on, the odds of you having a gay son goes up by 25%. Dude, I'm a horrible person, because part of me bombing today involved like these gay jokes that were just purely comedy and jokes, but my god, they froze up on me like I have never experienced. I mean, I have, but I was just like, I can't. I had to say, I'm homophobic. You guys realize that, right? You
said that?
Yeah, and then still didn't laugh. They were just like, I was like,
You doubled down.
double down.
Why
I did
would you
not.
double down?
I was just like, I'm from Pakistan. I was gonna.
I'm a Muslim.
Nothing worked. I was just like, I'm actually afraid of the gays in my country. We're afraid of the gays.
Actually?
Yeah, it's an actual thing.
Did you say that? On
No,
stage?
I didn't say that. I thought about that later. I was like, I should have said that. Like, I'm homophobic. No, I should have said I'm afraid of the gays, but I'm not homophobic, because that's it's a funny inverse.
Okay.
That'll be my next opening line at the Pakistani show.
So at least Gerard knows he's a bad friend. What about people that are bad friends and don't want to do anything about it? Like, we have a friend who's a bad friend and doesn't want to do anything about it.
I think I don't know.
It's the Brahmin Indian man
Yeah.
that left us for San Diego that he's talking about. But yeah,
I don't know. I don't know honestly.
You don't know what to do about that. Should we just stop being friends with them? You think?
I don't know honestly. I think the beautiful thing is
I'm listening.
being open and honest about where you are, and then sitting with those uncomfortable questions. Like, am I a bad person? He feels like, I'm always doing what I want to do. Should I? Am I a bad person for that? What does a good friend look like? What are my responsibilities? I don't feel like he has one person in his that he was supporting, one of his friends that decided to pursue acting. He's like, I don't believe in her. Does that mean that I keep believing her and like keep supporting her, or do I say what I think? Like, I think
Okay, so that's fascinating because he's like articulating his doubts
Yeah.
on stage. He's
He's-
being wow.
I think if you're able to be truly vulnerable with yourself and you're open and honest, and he's genuinely looking for answers, and he's genuine about how he feels and what he's going through. I think
Props to him, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's more than anyone can say, right? That's the most that anyone can do. I think for me, I think I aspire to be like that. Yeah.
To be completely honest.
With myself and with others, yeah. I think
I think that's a very noble thing. Yeah.
it's a scary part because look, when he's on and that's the scariest thing you can do. He's literally said I cheated on my boyfriend this weekend.
Oh, she said this
Yeah,
weekend?
yeah. I cheated on my boyfriend yesterday.
He
Seven-
could also be lying to us.
He could be, yeah.
He could be lying, right?
It could
And
be-
this
it
is
could
just
be
part of the
whatever.
character.
It could be.
Yeah.
I'm not saying he talks about that.
But
too.
it's still admirable for what the character is built.
Yeah.
Right. I can understand that.
I think
Holy shit, he said
I-
the line like this weekend?
yeah.
I struggle believe whether it's I've talked about this with this guy before.
He's red pilled.
No, not even. What does that do with that? What does that have to do with anything?
Conspiracy theory.
No,
Permanent.
I struggle with hearing famous people and believing that they're very genuine, authentic people because I see.
cannot if you see his
Yeah.
First of all, I think actually no.
I'm not
gonna
saying
say-
he's
I'm gonna
not.
I'm gonna say your skepticism. I like your skepticism.
Okay.
I think that's good. But keep going with famous people.
Yeah, I don't know if the dude's legit or not, right? He
Yeah.
probably is. Well, let me rephrase that. Maybe to other people he probably is. To me, I'm very skeptical because I know
think that's good. I
humans,
think that's
right?
good. Yeah.
Every human I meet has lied, bro. Every human I meet tries to create this persona.
Whoa, no, not me or
Yeah,
Russell.
my ass. Liars, bro. Everybody's a liar. Everybody tries to create this persona for themselves. Not everybody, but a lot of people try to create a persona for themselves, make themselves higher up, bigger than they are. And then you talk to a celebrity, and the celebrity is literally the person that's supposed to be elevated. They're supposed to be elevated among society. And so, like, why would they not want to make themselves different than the rest? And maybe the difference with Gerard, I'm not saying, I'm just using him as an example because we're talking about him, but Gerard, what really separates him is his unfiltered honesty. And that really creates this character of, I am a better comedian than these other guys because I'm truthful with myself. And you know what? You actually see the beauty in Gerard because he's honest and truthful, and you see him in this light. I'm just using him as an example.
No, go ahead.
We've also talked about this actor this guy knows. And he seems like this very pious, legit man. But at the end of the day,
Don't say the band's name.
I'm not going to say his name.
Thank you, please.
I'm not going to say his name. I would never do that.
Okay.
But at the end of the day, there's been a lot of dishonesty. And like now you get to see that this man is just a human. He's not just somebody you see in movies. And he messes up and he does things that he shouldn't be doing. But
God damn.
it's the truth. It is the truth.
I don't know like that, brother.
It is the truth.
God damn.
It hurts me, bro.
Okay, sure. There might be some truths to that. But you're right, man, about the whole putting celebrities on a pedestal. But I don't know this Gerard guy.
You don't want to talk about your experience?
Please, stop, man. Please don't get. Let me
Just
work.
kidding.
Let me resolve this problem.
kidding, bro.
Privately. Well, you were talking about Gerard. It seems to me it comes from also
Gerard.
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 Oh, I thought it was Gerard.
Sorry, Gerard.
Yeah, I think so. Gerard. Yeah.
So it's interesting. You have a point of view. You're artistically inspired by him, and
Yeah.
when somebody's artistically inspired by somebody, that love is really deep. Not just it's a deep connection because you can truly appreciate what they're doing on stage. Because from mine and yours vantage point, we're not our artistic minds are different than yours. His is different than mine. And you will appreciate that more. So 100%, we need to look into this guy.
I think some people are better than others.
Like he might not even be gay. Like we can maybe
Yeah, he
convert
might
him.
not even be gay.
We can convert him back to the
He might
right
have
side.
15 kids like his dad.
We can probably
Yeah,
convert him
His
right
grandfather.
back to the right side, to the pathway to.
Just to give you a different point of view, and this could also be, and like let's for a moment not thinking about like if they're lying or not. Look at Kevin Hart, right? He's also an instance of a person who said like he's done, he wasn't a good parent. He cheated on his wife. He did all these things, right?
Yeah.
And like, I think, and he's been hated for it, and that might not have been the most favorable thing that he could have done. But, and not to say that you should cheat or it's okay to cheat, but I think being able to be human, say whatever you did on stage, be truthful and say, be pain and say how much pain you can see the pain in somebody's eyes when they talk about something that's shameful or that they did.
Are you thinking about how you said I cheated my boyfriend this weekend? And he's like,
No, I'm thinking about how I described the guy right now.
oh,
It was pretty
that guy?
ruthless.
yeah,
Yeah.
you just relax, bro. They're gonna narrow it down. Okay, go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kevin Hart.
Yeah, I'm just saying, like,
But it's relieving to be truthful, is your point, right?
I think, at least for me, and I think it depends on the person,
Yeah.
but when I see someone going through things on stage and they're being vulnerable about things that they struggle with, because, like, I'm a selfish friend too. Like, I don't know, like, I don't always, like, I'm not always there for somebody. Like, maybe I'll, like, expect things from other people, or I'll say what I want. Like, maybe, like, I always say that what restaurant I want to go to, I wish they come to my direction, or like whatever it is. Like, I only reach out to them when, like, I want something, or I want to I want something from them. Like and the struggle that he expresses on stage, where he's like, I am this way. Am I a bad person? If I am a bad person, what should I do? And even with the part where he talks about, like, not being loved and accepted, like, he talks about in his last special, he's, like, talking about how he deals with this conflict because his brother says, like, I love you, but he knows it's I love you despite the fact that you're gay. And he's like, that doesn't feel like,
bro, that is insane.
Yeah. No, I
like,
yeah.
that to me is, like, first of all, such a nuanced point and a subtle point, right? To be able to express that on stage and to be able to,
Yeah.
Anyways, but
No, yeah, it's tough.
to be able to express that pain and to be able to
Takes guts, 100%.
it takes guts, and then also you can, like, I'm not gay. I haven't gone through the experiences that Gerard's gone through. He's had a much tougher life than I had, but I can identify with his pain, and I can identify with this person who's struggling to be who he is, and, like, this faulty human that he is. And, he's a great person. I'm not saying that he's a great person, but, he's, there's things that he struggles with. And I find solace in seeing someone else also going through struggles like me.
That's the whole point of art, right? To create stuff that people can resonate with and that affects them, to make them feel less alone. When you see him, you probably feel
I feel less
heard
alone,
in a way. Huh?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you feel less alone.
I think if you look at the last two specials that he had, there's such different, they're so different. And one special, so the one that he comes out as gay, he has this very open dialogue with the audience. He tells them, hey, he encourages them, hey, please, like, speak back, please talk, everything. And he goes, and there's a long periods of time where he doesn't have a joke, and he's just talking about how he feels and the pain and the things that he's not really, like, he hasn't worked it out on stage. So, like, Mike Sasson might say, like, don't do that, right? But he does that on stage, and you can tell this is the first time that I've seen a famous comedian with no shield.
You know what that reminds me of? Did you see that Jamie Foxx special?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Have you guys saw that?
No, I haven't.
But you know how he was very vulnerable and, like, he was crying
Yeah.
in the special about his injury. Like,
I almost killed my baby. Oh, that's Kanye West. Sorry.
what the fuck? I was like, did he say? I almost like, yeah. I was like, hold on. I was like, he didn't say that.
Yeah.
No, it was, yeah. He was sorry. He was in a coma, and he was visibly crying on stage during a special, and I never saw that on stage.
Yeah.
So maybe it's very simple. I understand what you're saying
to
now.
see pain.
It was powerful, yeah.
And I feel like, look, I
Because
think
there's even no jokes to it sometimes. He would
there
just
wasn't
talk.
any jokes. He was just talking, and I feel like, look, is that comedy? I think that's a different question. But like, what does it mean to be a comedian? But I feel like when somebody's performing on stage, and I think that last special that he released called "Don't Be Gay," like I think when you
Oh, it's called Don't Be
yeah,
Gay?
it's "Don't Be Gay," yeah.
That's a good title.
It's a great title.
He's
for a
right,
special.
yeah.
And so when you look at that special, you really see someone. It's kind of like because he has a script, he knows where he's going, he has all these jokes, it's polished, it's tight. He kind of has like this, he's performing, right? And there's this layer between him and the audience. He's super skilled in that he's able, whenever he brings something up, like, you know, he talks about like an open relationship, and he's like, oh, like I wanted to be an open relationship. I know what you guys are thinking about, like, you know, if you love someone, shouldn't you only be with that one person? Like, why would you need to be with anybody else? And then he goes into and he explains like how he breaks down all of their concerns that they have in their minds, and then he addresses them. And when he's engaging with the audience, but in a controlled way, he knows exactly how they're gonna react. He knows, you know what I mean? And when in his last special, with the special before that, Nathaniel, he has no idea how the audience is going to react. He's talking about things that he hasn't really processed completely yet. Like, he has no shield, and you can see that he has no answers. And so for me, like, that is such a compelling thing that he did on stage. It's a beautiful thing, but like it's different, yeah. But is one better, one worse? I don't know. I couldn't tell you.
The whole point of art is to find your medium and then do whatever it is you want with it, in my opinion. There's no boundaries. You get to create your own boundaries. If you're good enough, people will recognize you for the work you do. So,
isn't it interesting that comedy has become an art?
yeah, it was just a really new thing.
It's a new thing. It used to be jester, like you're literally the laughing stock for everybody to just laugh at you. Like, you're literally, like, there was no point to your life except people laughing at you, right? And now it's like more of laughing with you. Like, you're doing comedy to make yourself laugh almost, and because you're making yourself laugh, everybody else is kind of like along for the ride.
Definitely, I that's a really good point, because I think the status of comedians in 2025 is definitely elevated.
Yes.
People have so much more respect for comedians.
100%.
They're not just like these jokers. Oh, you're a comedian? Ha ha ha.
Yeah.
It's like, it's not like
You're
that
not a
negative
jokester.
stereotype. It's like,
Yeah.
wow, you have beliefs about the world and you have a way to make them funny. And we will come to your show in Madison Square Garden and pay thousands of dollars.
Like philosophers. Well, I mean, like,
Yes.
if you think about,
Yes, I am a philosopher. I have told this guy many times.
it's really
The
interesting. Well, I
philosophies.
feel like you both. I mean, like, the idea.
No, just me, not him. No.
This guy is definitely something else, but
Funny guy. Anyway,
What makes you say that though? Because I've heard other people say that as well.
that you're like a philosopher?
Not me, bro.
Oh,
I mean, yeah. No, actually, what am I saying? Yeah, I have all the time. But what makes you say the comedy and philosophy?
first of all, I know nothing. Just based off of my very uneducated view of what a philosopher is. Like, they look at the world and they try and make sense of it, and they try and why things are the way that they are, and they just understand it. I think comedians, to be funny, you have to be extremely observant, and you have to see things in a way that other people don't, and you have to make connections in a way that people don't. It's always about subvert. And so comedians are able to take things that people see. Like, when you make fun of someone, you're picking something else. You're picking something out that it's really hard to see. Especially comedians that are very good at being critical, like you, right? Like, you know, if you're able to be critical, like, my brother's really good at this. He'll make fun of the things that, like, my dad, like, he'll make things that my dad says or does. Like, one of the things that he was making fun of recently was, like, I have a Ghanaian friend, and he went back to Ghana. My dad helped him out with his ticket and to get back and everything. and he was kind of lamenting to my brother. He's like, I can't believe he went back. Like, you know, like you shouldn't, like, he shouldn't have done that. Now Trump's gonna be, you know, putting him on the no-fly list. My brother goes, didn't you pay for his ticket to go back? Like it doesn't make any sense. Like, yeah. And so, like, to be able to, I think comedians, and you know, there's a range, but to be able, I think at the essence of comedy is observation. And from that observation, just the ability to be like, what is the difference between men and women? And like, you know, it may be abstract, it may not always be true, but like, what are the differences? What is this like? What is that like? What is this person like? What's funny about this? Like, yeah. And I think that act of stepping back and observing is very, very, I don't know. I feel like it should be extremely valued, and it's a very beautiful thing. Yeah. I
agree. And also, not all comedians look at things deeply.
No, you're right. You're very right.
You know, and only a handful of comedians have this ability.
I feel like the kings for me are like Jon Stewart and his crowd, so like Trevor Noah, all those people. Like, I feel like, because if you look at their specials, they are very, very similar. Like, if you look at Hassan Minaj and Ronnie Chang, they have very similar topics. It's like,
because they hang out a lot.
Yeah. And so I feel like,
makes sense. Not like Kevin James.
I don't know what Kevin James is.
You don't know Kevin James?
No.
But I feel like those are like the goats of like that genre of comedy.
Hassan Minhaj, you're putting him in the category.
I'd say, like, you know, these people that are very, very like thoughtful about the society and commentary and everything like that. Look, just the act of what Hassan and Ronnie were doing in their specials, like, they were looking at social media and they're like, what is it doing to men in society? Like, what kind of men are we raising? Like, and then making fun of it. But like that act of stepping back and being from the matrix and being like, what is social media? Like, what is it doing? How does it work? Like,
right.
Like that act of itself, and look, I don't know anything about like philosophy, but like for me, like that's a very interesting, very different way of thinking about the world. Like most people, like including myself, I just use Instagram. I just use, you know, the New York Times. I just, you know, all these, like when the New York Times gives me something, like I believe it. Jon Stewart, Trevor Noah, they question the narrative. They're like, okay, who's paying for the New York Times? Like, what does this mean? Why are they saying this? What's the counter narrative? Do I believe that? Like, who are the voices? What does this mean in the context of, what does this story mean in the context of the greater overall? Like, they have a very, like, people are in it, they are out of it. And they're saying, like, one of my favorite things that they do is they say, what is the context? Most people see story, make a judgment.
Good point.
They get to a conclusion without understanding the context and
how we got there, right?
Yeah. And so when you someone I was talking to was really interesting. They were talking about, like, you know, Iran, right? And they were talking about some other countries, like, and saying potential of Iran's government falling.
Right.
And, you know, I was like, oh, maybe there'll be a democracy, whatever it is, like, and they were saying traditionally and historically, democracy and Muslim countries don't go together. And I'm not saying, you know, whether that's right or wrong, I don't know. I haven't really studied history, but just that act of, before you make a judgment about what kind of government and democracy a country should have, you look at history and you look at the context in which these people are growing up in before you make a conclusion. And I think for me, when you look at Trevor Noah and we look at all these people, you are really challenged to before you make any judgments, to really step back and really think about what it is you're seeing, who's saying it, why are they saying it.
That's pretty modern way of comedy, right? Of
I
like
think
being super introspective.
I think it depends on the comedian, right? You have like Trevor Wallace, who's the exact opposite. he's just
Right.
making he's
Yeah.
just making like
Dumb jokes. Yeah. Like Kevin James. Yeah.
look, I'm saying he has an audience. He's great at what he does. He's amazing.
It's great at being surface level.
He's great, right? He's amazing. But like, is he making the societal commentary that Trevor Noah and Jon Stewart are making? No, it's a different type of comedy, right?
Definitely.
And so
Interesting, huh?
There's
they're
levels to this, bro.
look, they're good at different things, right? Like, if you want,
Would you say they're like completely different genres of
they're
comedy?
super different. Like, look, Trevor Wallace has in his special pterodactyl. He has this, like, towards the end, he's like, you know, I'm gonna be like I really want to be vulnerable or something like this right now, and then he just does a U-turn and just does like just like a crude joke, and like even like he uses the act like
Yeah, go ahead.
he uses the pretending of like being vulnerable as a tool to
As an arc to
get
a
into
joke,
his
yeah.
joke. And so I'm just saying he's great at what he does. I love him. He's really funny. I think he really gives a value. Like, there's a beautiful thing that he's doing. He's creating laughter for the
It's just different.
It's different. It's different.
Yeah. Will Trevor Wallace ever be as big as Trevor Noah?
I don't know, honestly. I don't know.
Trevor Noah sells arenas.
I don't know.
You think Trevor Wallace can? Trevor Wallace can?
I haven't seen enough of his comedy to tell you
I
that.
think Trevor does something beautiful that
He unites people.
he unites people based off of shared experiences. I turned on Trevor Noah. I was in India, and I turned on Trevor Noah for this woman who'd never seen Trevor Noah in her life. She was, she's Indian mother, very sweet, everything. And there's all these American things that I'd shown her, didn't laugh. Trevor Noah laughed the entire time. She was in tears.
I have to watch. I've never watched it.
Because
Yeah.
it's based
he's
off
insane.
of these shared experiences. Like, he's talking about the way like women can talk with like people can talk with their eyes. Like, he was talking about how, like, with women, like when the husband fucks up, they it's all in the eyes. Like, I can't believe you did that. Like, you'll never be able to do that again. You're gonna hear it when we get home. Like, she could relate to that. And like,
Wow.
like, he has this other thing too, where he's talking about how, like, when in this snake show, like, a son wasn't running and the father left, and the father had to come back, but he was like kind of like pissed off about it. Like, he's like, he made this commentary about like when a mother sees her child in danger, she'll be like, I'll die for my child, kill me, snake, strike me, and the dad will be like, I want to save him, but like, I don't want to die. And like,
Yeah.
like I can make another one of you, but like, you can't make another one of me. Why would I go? Your dumbass was just like, dumbass saw the snake and didn't run. Like, I can, the snake needs
Natural
run. Like,
selection,
why?
yeah.
This is natural. Exactly. And so, like, that's such a
agree.
beautiful
Universal experience.
universal experience. And it's so playful. And so, like, Trevor Noah and Trevor Wallace have like different strengths. I think Trevor is so good at finding the shared human experiences, like you said. And
Where would you put Andrew Schultz?
Andrew Schultz?
Yeah, where does he fall
I would say
between this
he's
binary between?
I would say he's more like Trevor Wallace. Yeah.
Really?
I disagree.
No, so this is different. I think in his comedy,
Yeah, Andrew Schultz is comedy.
Andrew Schultz's comedy,
Stand-up,
and Andrew Schultz speaking on a
Podcast?
podcast.
No,
I think
don't-
are different.
Yeah, 100%. No, podcasting is
I think-
degenerate. Definitely. I'm talking about stand up.
No. I think as a person,
Actually,
Schultz is a lot more like he's a very I feel like he's like a I don't know, based off what I see, like, I don't know, like, take it with a grain of salt, but like, I feel like he's a good person. He's very thoughtful, and like, he considers other people's perspectives, and he's genuinely like trying to do the right thing. He's very like, he has a very different, like, he's a very like provocative sense of humor.
yeah.
But like, when you look at his last special, right? Like, his last special was like,
About getting pregnant.
yeah, but like, he has like maybe like, oh, I was scared about being pregnant, and then he makes jokes about like, you know, all this like crazy stuff about like his fantasy with like the nurse and like all this stuff and like the crude stuff. He makes like a joke about his son looking like a Puerto Rican when he comes out. Like,
Yeah.
like what's the underlying
Message.
human pain or emotion that he's going through?
Don't marry a woman in her 30s. That's what I got. It was like, you want to have no problems getting pregnant, just marry a woman in her 20s. All this shit's gonna be. But he was the problem, right? It was his sperm, technically. That was the problem.
Something
It wasn't
like
even.
that. I all I'm saying is that
I understand.
when you look at his comedy and you'll like look at extremes, like look at Gerard, right? I don't think that the
goddamn
emotional resonance is there. And if you look at Gerard's comedy, it's so layered. And there's so many observations, and it's so vulnerable, and it's so like the nuances and social cues and complexities that he's able to just express. Like one of the things that I thought was really interesting was like his boyfriend said like, "I love you." It's like, how do you like? You're just supposed to take them at their word for it. Like when somebody says, "I love you," like how do I know? Like
Prove
I
it.
need you to prove it.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's like, and that's such an interesting like observation, you know, that I bet a lot of people have had. But for me, it was just like I didn't really like think about it like that. And so when you have like, and again, each comedian has their own artistry, their own like they're I feel like they have their own role in society. Like if you look at like a Nate Bargatze, like he's a type of person where he's like, there's no point to it.
You know Nate, right? Clean comedian. Sorry, go ahead. Yeah.
There's
Doesn't do any dirty jokes. Doesn't even curse on stage. Sells out thousands of.
Have I seen him?
Probably, yeah.
there's no point to there's no point, and that's intentional that there's no point. He
Just
says,
jokes.
He says, I want people, and it's so interesting the way he said it. He's like, I want people to, like, people are so bombarded by things. Like, think about this, think about this, think about this. This needs to be intentional. This needs to be intentional. It's like, I just want you to be relaxed and for it to not have a point. And that's such a beautiful thing to do for your audience, is to give them a space to just be like,
it's an escape.
I don't need to think about anything right now. I can just laugh.
That's true too.
I can just laugh.
Yeah.
And that's people. And then there's something beautiful about Gerard, right? This person who's like extremely vulnerable, talking about all his, you know, not being accepted, not being loved, struggling about his friendships, his relationships, struggling about being. I have to tell my partner that I want to sleep with someone else. How the fuck do you do that? That's crazy.
Yeah.
Like that's such a human like struggle, and he's so raw and vulnerable. That has its own place too. And so like, and same thing with Trevor, right? Trevor Wallace or Trevor Noah, like.
That's very interesting.
They each do something so beautiful that the other does not to take away from them. They do things so beautifully, and so they give you something that the other one can't.
I'm struggling with that a lot right now. I'll be honest. Like I was thinking about this today. It was some of those jokes that were provocative were not working today in this specific room. I was like, do I want to be the type of comedian who aspires for more provocative stuff, or do I want to kind of not censor myself, but do I want to just attack different things? Like maybe that should not be the priority.
It's really interesting.
And it's fun being provocative, but it's also fun when you say something deep. Like I've seen both sides to it. Maybe not to an amazing degree like these professional pros who've been doing it over 10 years, but I've seen both sides of it, and I think I have to realize, what do I feel more comfortable in my skin, you know? Because it's all about that. Like Matt Rife, he talks about this, right? He says, I mean, if you see his crowd work, he destroys. Like he goes out, he will literally, he doesn't give a shit. He says this, he doesn't censor himself. He said the worst thing you could do on stage, if you're trying to do crowd work, is censor yourself. Whatever, the first thing that comes to your mind is always the funniest thing. And he abides by that principle, which means he's going to end up...
There's only one Matt Rife, and like I don't think everyone should say what comes to their mind.
No, but I agree with his crowd work advice. Because the moments when I censor myself, I mess up. The moments when I don't censor myself, I just say whatever's on my mind, it works like crazy. I agree with Matt Rife on that regard, at least. Depends on the room, depends on the people.
Chappelle does both.
Chappelle...
Yeah, what is he? Where would you put him?
Both.
Chappelle more works...
But he doesn't do it that provocative like Andrew Schultz. Andrew, bro, will go after it.
No, but Chappelle is introspective about what he says, but he also says like very dirty and like meaningless stuff too.
Sometimes, yeah.
So that's what I'm saying.
Who's the complete comedian? Is Dave Chappelle the only one that's complete as in provocative, depth, meaningless stuff? It's a combination. You get the whole package.
I'd say Trevor probably. Well, okay, so I don't think Trevor is vulnerable on stage. He talks about everything. He pretends. Not that he pretends. He's not pretending. I think he's very good at seeming like he's talking about himself, but he's not.
I've observed that, yeah.
And again, Trevor's amazing at what he does. He's very good at, like, you know, making people feel like they're together, making people see the unity and the common humanity in people. And that's just, you know, that's his intention. And so, but I don't think he talks about himself. Like that's a different skill altogether. Like if you look at Kevin Hart, right? Kevin Hart and Trevor Noah are like at the complete opposite. Kevin Hart will talk about, you know, not being able, like his mom coming in when he's masturbating, like his, you know, he talks about like, you know, his mom, his, you know, his wife and him like spitting on his wife, whatever it was, like stuff like that. And so like you have people who are, he's like incredibly vulnerable, and then you have someone like Trevor Noah who's like making like jokes about like the ridiculousness of the situations and stuff like that.
Interesting. Well, it's been an interesting conversation, man. Talked about everything.
Yeah.
Pretty much everything. Episode 3 soon to come, maybe 9 months from now. Maybe 2 years from now, maybe, I don't know, sooner. I don't know. We'll see.
It's been a year since we've had you on the pod.
Yeah, that's crazy. Time flies. Thank you, man. Do you want to say something else before we go? Any advice? Anything you want to share?
No, peace and love. Peace and love.
Peace and love. There it is. All right.